Welcome to Counterculture Wise, a Stormcat production, with your hosts Melanie Hope and James Monis. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts, our guests, and the dog, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any of our platforms, our advertisers, or any other dog.
As you listen today, please remember, we are so much more than a podcast. All of our stories we discuss are linked in our show notes on counterculturewise.com. Visit there for commentary, guest photos and links, animations, and fun merchandise.
If you have a story idea or would like to be a guest on our show, contact us via our website. You can also follow us on Twitter, Gab, Instagram, Facebook, and all over social media where we'll post memes, cat pics, and commentary that gets us booted off on a regular basis.
If you're watching our live show, hit like and join the chat. If you're listening dead, well, you can still hit like, share, subscribe, and comment, but please stop voting Democrat. And with the meows of a Meowky Meow, we head on into another Counterculture Wise podcast.
Yay! Hooray for us.
Oh, yeah. We have a lot to talk about today, a lot to get to, and a lot of fun, engaging, and interesting things, and a little bit of news of the wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's always wicked.
There's always wicked in this world, but we'll do our best to be joyful, as apparently that's the thing that we're not allowed to be anymore.
Only they're allowed to be joyful.
Yeah, well...
So all they talk about is joy, 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 joy down in their heart.
Well, ignorance
That's where it starts.
Ignorance
Deep
is bliss.
You know the thing.
You know the thing. Ignorance is bliss, and they are as joyful as they could possibly.
Oh my gosh,
they're as
so
blissful as they could possibly be.
Ay.
Ay, ay, ay. Well, folks, if you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Melanie Hope, your hostess with the mostest, and sitting to my right is my right-hand man. My co-host happens to be my husband, my very best friend, and my sweet baboo, Mr. James Monis.
Hey! Why do seagulls fly over the sea?
Because if they flew over the bay, they'd be bagels.
I don't like you. She got the joke! Oh.
I know, I'm not supposed to do that, am I?
No, that's fine.
Because I was thinking land goals, cliff goals, car goals, bagel. I get it.
Now I want a bagel.
Who doesn't ever not want a bagel?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
If you're really, really good, though, you might win a bagel. You know, I do this for a living. Don't try this at home.
No. Or in the office, or in the middle of a Starbucks. Or,
Yeah. Well, we do have the weird merch that is out there. So head on over to counterculturewise.com and check out the weird merch, because apparently we're weird. They're joyful, but we're weird.
I think it's possible to be both joyful and weird.
I think those are not mutually exclusive.
No,
and quite frankly, if I'm weird, because I believe we shouldn't murder children, allow people to make dangerous treks where they get raped and children are trafficked, you know, flood the country with, you know,
and maybe have a a fiscally responsible government.
Yeah,
I'll
be weird. Call me weird. I'm down with it. Not you know, fix our children like they're our pets. I mean, yeah, I'll be weird. I am out there being weird.
Yeah,
I'll be weird all day long. Yeah. So the DNC, Yeah.
We'll talk about
that in a bit. Before we go any further, though, we had an amazing interview with a super duper awesome person. Absolutely. I want to show you a little bit about her. I don't want to get DMCA'd off the universe, though, so I'm going to literally talk over the top of her video. I can turn it on and off a little bit. An incredibly talented lady, Miss Callie Tucker, who was a semi-finalist on The Voice, and obviously, as you can see from the video here, she's amazingly beautiful and talented. So we sat down and had a little bit more than an hour-long talk with her. And if you tune in on Wednesday, you can hear more, see more, and get to know a little bit about her.
She's worth listening to. Her song "Country Couture" is so fun.
It's very
and the
catchy.
Video's a lot of fun
it's a lot of fun.
See.
And you get some insights into what it took to put that together. That was her mommy driving the car just there.
Yeah, my friend Michael produced the video, and he's the one who let me know about this. So shout out to Michael.
Now, is he the one who produced the video that you were in?
No.
That was a different thing? Okay.
That was a different thing altogether.
Anyways, do tune in to hear Callie Tucker talk about her recent video, Country Couture. And, of course, enjoy all the outfits that you can see here. She's a lot of fun. A bright young lady, and I think she's got a big future. And her mommy, of course, is also famous, so we get to hear a little bit about her as well. So that'll be a lot of fun to do.
Please tune in on Wednesday. We'll be posting out in the evening on Wednesday.
Yes. All righty. What else do we want to talk about? Well, I hate starting out the podcast with dead people, but there's...
So a couple of significant ones.
Yeah.
We had Greg Kinn, who founded and led the Greg Kinn Band, who's out of the Bay Area. They had a couple of hits. The Breakup Song is my favorite, also called They Don't Ride 'Em. His biggest hit was called Jeopardy.
Didn't they do a version of that too? The
Yeah, that's the song.
Oh, that is the song.
That is the song.
Oh, and he goes through the different. Okay,
yeah.
I thought there was a song that was based on that song.
No,
okay.
that is the song. Yeah.
It's a catchy tune.
Catchy little number.
They don't ride 'em like.
And then he had the song Jeopardy, which became his biggest hit. I think it was the only top 10 he ever had, and of course,
da, 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 da,
no, darling,
no.
My
love's in jeopardy.
Yes,
baby. Woo, woo,
and of course,
okay.
Weird Al had to take it and turn it into "I Lost on Jeopardy," which is hilarious. Also, we lost Famous Amos, who made really good chocolate chip cookies.
Well, that's why he was famous.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a real dude. So.
Yeah, it was a real dude. It was a real guy.
Cool.
Yeah. Jack Russell, the former
the terrier.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. So I'm not offended or upset or put off in any way. He's the former lead singer. Well, definitely the former lead singer now, but he was the former lead singer for Great White, who had a hit called "Once Bitten, Twice Shy" back in the 80s.
Okay.
It's the only song of theirs I know. I'm just not that much into hair bands of the 80s. I mean, if I hear it, I enjoy it, but I was more into other music in the 80s.
Weren't they the ones who did Here I Go Again?
No, that was Whitesnake.
Oh, Great White Snake. You can see how I can get confused.
No, I can't.
No.
And
I get Cinderella and Motley Crue and all of them all convoluted.
Motley was a step above.
Motley-rella.
I loved Whitesnake too.
Actually, Crue has a special place in my heart. They always will, even though they're all rat bastards. They're
awful human beings, but
nasty human beings.
Great musicians. And lastly, famed talk show host Phil Donahue.
Yeah.
He was old though.
Was he?
I don't know how old was he. Anyway, he passed on.
Did the female version of him wore the same glasses and everything? What was her name? Sally Jesse
Is she
Raphael.
Still around? I wasn't prepared to answer that.
I always got those. I think
she's passed on too.
Yeah.
All
the talk show hosts are gone.
Sally Jesse
Raphael. Sally Jesse.
Blah blah blah.
She had so many names.
And
you can never die if you have that many names.
Sally's still around.
She's still around? Good for her.
And Phil was married to actress Marlo Thomas.
I did not know that.
I had a feeling you didn't know that.
How did I not know that?
I'm not sure.
I thought she was gay.
Just because she's a little left of center does not make her a lesbo.
I love her. Don't get me wrong. I adore her. She's darling. I really, honest to gosh.
Yeah, they were married for years and years and years.
Oh, that's so sweet. Is she still around?
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. Well, rest in peace, Greg Kinn, Famous Amos, Jack Russell, woof, and Phil Donahue. May you all meet your maker on good terms.
Rest in paradise.
Yes.
Yes.
May you all meet your maker on good terms. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
All right. Well, let's move on to the rantable question of the week.
I want to hear this rant because
It's not really going to be a rant so much.
It's been a while since I've heard a good rant from my wife.
Oh, well.
Publicly.
A good public rant from the Whiffy. It's not really going to be a rant so much as it's just, what in heaven's name is going on? I mean, we talk and Chuck will talk a little bit about the DNC as well, but I mean, we've touched on this with the mobile murder machines and thing, I mean, just, and they can't even satisfy their own voters. I mean, they're basically shouting at each other.
How would you feel if your voice was shut down because there wasn't a primary?
Well, I wouldn't be voting for them, but they're gonna. I mean, you just look at them and they're just dead-eyed. And I mean, look at the picture on our. I mean, they're just dead-eyed.
I think if you were truly upset, you should vote third party. I don't even care if it's socialist.
I think all the third parties have been eliminated too because they've worked overtime to get him off the ballot. They're still trying to get Trump off the ballot. So basically, they don't want to have an election. And I'm putting this out there right now. My money is on some sort of October surprise that causes martial law, and we're just not going to have an election at all.
I hope you're wrong.
Just like Zelensky did. Oh, well, can't have an election when we're in the middle of a war. Shucky darn, guess I'm still your president.
Send me more money.
Yeah, send me more money.
I'm coming to you today. I need more money.
I don't think he sounds like Bernie Sanders.
I know, but Bernie did that video. That was just kind of,
That's true, he did, didn't he?
That's why I did Bernie Sanders.
They threw Bernie under the bus too.
Yeah, they did him wrong.
They really did him wrong.
Yeah.
And let's face it. I mean, this is big news too. Let's face it. Our friend Robert Kennedy Jr. had the guts to do what Bernie should have done. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying he should run out and join the Republican Party, which RFK did not do. By the way,
it's not.
But after they threw Bernie under the bus, twice, he should have just said, forget this noise and not been part of the party. And, that's how they lost Tulsi too.
Yeah.
And we'll talk a little bit about.
Think about it though. I mean, now he has Vivek, he has Elon, he has Tulsi, he has Robert Democrat Kennedy Jr. I mean, his family
disowned him.
They disowned him, but they were the architects of the modern Democrat Party.
Yeah. And
now their leading guy.
Well, because they've gone too far left. They've gone.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody, I think it was at Daily Wire were playing. In fact, I need to bring that up. I might actually use that side-by-side comparison, but they were playing the old newsreels of the Nazi youth, and honest to gosh, I'm not making this up. They were calling it healthful joy or joyful health or something, but basically the word joy was in there.
The Joy Division.
Yeah.
That there was a rock band named after that.
Literally was a Nazi policy.
Right.
Okay, so they've been calling us maggots, which is basically calling us vermin, which is straight out of the Nazi playbook.
Yep.
And they've been using the phrase the big lie straight out of the Nazi playbook. And now they're doing the joyful thing, and everybody's sitting back and calling us Nazis.
And I want to reiterate, neither Melanie nor I are members of the Republican Party.
No.
I'm a constitutionist. I would never, and even that's, we're independent thinkers.
Yeah, I've never been a
voters.
Member of a party. I've always been independent.
I have. I've been a Democrat. I've been a Republican. I've been a Libertarian. I've run the gamut.
Thank God you're more faithful in your marriage than you are in your politics.
I've evolved or devolved, depending on your point of view. I just
have certain things
I'm
that...
a future government worker, and I got to be careful about being a strict libertarian. Obviously, I'm not.
Yeah.
But I do believe in efficiency of how our tax dollars are spent. I'm always aware that government workers, and that includes politicians as well, people don't joyfully hand over their money to pay taxes.
Well, see, you're libertarian, whereas I'm AMCAP. Tax is theft. It just is. We didn't agree. In fact, that's one of the reasons we left the UK,
I know.
back then Britain. Tax is theft. We didn't agree to this. It's unconstitutional. The IRS is an unconstitutional entity. And to
Right.
give it as much power as they do is not only unconstitutional, it's unconscionable.
It's kind of evil, yeah.
It's absolutely evil. But that is a discussion for another time.
Definitely.
Today, I want to talk about, well, the question of the week is, why did they pretend for 4 years and then forget in 4 days?
What exactly do you mean by that, Melanie Hope?
Well, Biden's brain. Biden's brain. We saw this. In fact, we called this
Uh-huh.
way back in 2020.
Way back in the 20s.
We called this. And they're still pretending that they didn't gaslight us for not us, but their own party for I'd say 5 years, but you could even go back. If you recall the memes when Bummer was president, people saw that Biden was a moron back then. Biden's always been known as dumb. And then when, they throw him into the race, throw Bernie under the bus yet again, and I don't even know how he ended up being the candidate. I still don't. Of all the people they could have run,
there were many more qualified people. And
way more
I would have been
qualified.
Contented with that.
But way more
this is
qualified.
like-
Of all the people they could have run, they grabbed this guy who clearly has dementia.
Even back then we knew he had it.
Yeah.
And they kept saying, no, he's as sharp as a tack.
And then, they pretend for 4 years, and then he has, as they say, one bad night, and he's out of there. They take him, basically they took him around the back of the barn and shot him.
Bad nights.
So Biden has this farewell speech at the DNC, which I was going to go over because it was just lie after lie after lie after lie. But I don't want to revisit. I just don't.
It was just another version of Joe Biden's greatest shizzles.
Yeah, I mean, it started with the fine people hoax, which when we go into our new normal, I think you'll appreciate what I did with that.
Yeah.
The drink bleach hoax. I'm sure he threw Russia in there. I mean, he just literally every completely debunked hoax, he just pretended like they were real.
Right.
He should be in a rocking chair with a lap quilt, cat on his lap, a nice hot chocolate, and enjoying being an old half-dead guy. Just let him go already.
Give it a few months and he will be.
Well, they've already pretty much done that. I mean, basically he disappeared. He's supposed to still be the president of the United States of America. Think about that. He is still supposedly the president of the United States of America. He still has the ability to declare nuclear war. He still is that person. And the poor guy doesn't even know where he is half the time. And they won't even let him off his leash, but only they held off until 11:30 p.m. for the poor man who usually goes to bed around 5 or 6.
Right.
To give this speech, and they were so condescending. It was, if I didn't know what a treasonous ass this guy was, if I didn't know how vile this man was and how he's been for sale his entire life, and you could just look at his kids to find out what an awful parent he's been. All of his kids turned out rotten. And, the lies he's told, and you can talk about Trump's lies till the cows come home, but Trump's lies are usually stretching the truth.
He has a tendency to stretch the truth.
He's a showman.
Speaking hyperbole
he's a showman.
Generalities, okay?
The thing is,
he's not the most honest man in the world.
Trump's lies do not cause division. Trump's lies do not cause wars. Trump's lies do not cause extortion and treason. Trump's lies are like, oh, the hamburgers were stacked a mile high, or oh, I was the best at this, or oh, my audience was the biggest. They don't hurt anybody. Trump's lies are showmanships. Biden's lies are war-starting, earth-shattering, divisive, violence-causing, evil, vile, nasty lies.
And I said vile too. So
and he'll just tell him over and over and over and over, and he'll just
because he believes it, and he wants you to believe it,
and he wants you to believe. And the sad thing is, so many people in their party do. I mean,
well, they're lapdogs in the mainstream press are like
right,
parroting
and
everything
even
he says.
Snopes debunked the fine people hoax, and he still told it. And it gets more exciting every time. Their veins are popping and their eyes are swirling and they're all 20 feet tall and they left their hoods at home. So, it's like, oh my God. I mean, yeah, that's really good for a dramatic interpretation of something that just didn't happen. The other thing that I find fascinating is that it's morphed. And now please understand, I am not in any way, shape, or form at all on the side of these guys with the tiki torches, okay? Please get that through your heads. Just because we're saying you're blowing it out of proportion and making complete asses out of yourself does not mean that we support these guys. And even Trump, totally disavow, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, totally disavow. I am a lousy Nazi. I am a horrible Nazi. I'm so bad that I got called a Zionist Nazi. I am not making this up.
That is one serious rainbow-striped unicorn
I want
with a mustache.
a plaque for that. I'm
you.
proud. I wish I would have screenshotted that, but she blocked me before I could. But yeah, called me a Zionist Nazi. I was really proud of that. I was so taken aback by it. I did not grab the screenshot, and then she blocked me.
You just
and I
have
wasn't
to
able
get a Star of David and swastika symbol put together.
Star of swastika, yeah.
The Star of swastika.
Criminy. It's just... Seriously, I'm not even joking, but they have morphed this into something way bigger than it was. And what I found interesting is I was going back to look at the videos because I was trying to find where he actually said very fine people, blah, blah, because they cut it.
Right. They chop
it and then they make it into something that it wasn't. And in doing that, I found the original video of, the Tiki Torch Parade. And what I thought was interesting is, they're white supremacists and this and that, blah, blah, blah. Well, these guys were marching, at least the way I understood it way back when it was actually happening, because you saw the flyers and whatnot, was they were saying, stop importing foreign people and stop saying that you're going to replace us, with X, Y, and Z. And so they were shouting, you will not replace us. And you can hear it clear as a bell. And they even emphasized you. Okay? Every report now says they were Nazis because they were shouting, Jews will not replace us. There were Jews. There were Jews in that march.
They actually are reporting that they said, folks, I'm sorry, but I didn't know this.
Well, Biden said it in his speech, shouting Nazi phrases. Jews, he literally said it in his speech. And that's what they've been reporting for the last 3-4 years, that these guys were yelling that. And then, of course, Trump's called them very fine people, which he didn't. He didn't. Anyways, that's a mini rant. I want to talk about Kamala's speech. First of all, we got schooled.
Oh, didn't we, though?
Yeah, and I'm not going to play the video because it's just infuriating, but I don't know who the lady was, but she's one of those chicken-necked, talking down to you, entitled, better than you, you can just see her snapping in the air. It has come to my attention that some people don't understand how to pronounce our next president's name. And it's like just her tone of voice.
It's like nails on a chalkboard. I could listen to it for about 3 seconds.
She must be.
I took off the headset. I wasn't listening.
Yeah, she must be a blast at parties. So she's really condescending. So she brings on a couple of Kamala's nieces, little cute, darling little girls. And, just like lefties do, they use the children. And you could tell by the little smirk on the broad's face that was her way of insulting people, because even children can get it correct. And what I find hilarious is the way they're pronouncing her name, Kamala, is not how it's pronounced. And not even how even she herself used to pronounce it that way. Kamala, or Kamala, actually it's Kamala. Kamala is the Indian name that her Indian mother gave her because Kamala Harris is Indian and used to be proud of that. And you can look it up. It is Kamala. And I'm sure there's several people in the actual real Indians, and we're talking dot, not feather. And yes, I get to use that because my friend gave me a pass on that because she is feather Indian. And that's literally what they say when they say I'm Indian, dot, not feather, or feather, not dot. It's Kamala. She herself called herself that for years, and you can go back and listen when she introduced herself. Now all of a sudden, it's Kamala. Because that sounds more black. Because now she's magically a black person. Which is funny because her skin is about as black as mine. And I'm Irish. If we got next to each other, she'd be about as brown as me. But I digress. So I want to go over this speech that she gave, her acceptance speech for not being voted for anything. For being nominated but not, voted. And it starts off with, thank you to everybody, yardy yardy. And oh my God, with the condescending, ongoing cheering these people. Oh, they're so joy-filled. It's like, no, they were worse than at a rock concert. They just wouldn't shut up forever. And she didn't even know what to do with them because they just wouldn't shut up. She's like, okay, thank you. Oh my God, with the thing. Thank you. Get over it. Enough already. Anyway, so her speech starts out about, I was born a poor black child and my mom was this and we were middle class and my dad, and they divorced and mom raised us alone and yada yada, the whole thing. Okay. She was never broke. She was never poor. She never suffered. She wasn't even middle class, if we're going to be honest. Anyway, the first thing I thought this was hilarious. She taught us never to complain about injustice. Lady, that's literally all you've ever done your entire life. And they're not even real injustices. They're perceived injustices. And to never do anything half-assed. Well, in her
if
case,
you don't do anything, then
if you no-ass it,
then you don't have to half-ass anything.
Yeah, you don't have to half-ass anything.
I've known that for years.
She's completely no-assed the border, so I guess that works. Anyways, she grew up with the civil rights movement. I'm really glad she didn't tell the freedom story because that's a crock of crap. Anyways, I highlighted some things that. Okay, so of course we have to invoke the mighty orange one because we couldn't possibly have a policy. And by the way, there are no policies at all. The entire DNC, not a single policy. The one she did mention, she copied from Trump. Mm-hmm. And then she did kind of fly by the idea of unrealized gains taxes, which is unconstitutional and inhumane. Anyways, and don't think it won't affect you if you're broke. Because you buy a car, if that car goes in demand, even if you don't sell the car, you're going to have to pay taxes on what they think that car is worth. Same with your house, same with your stocks, same with, I forget who it was, but they walked us through what happens if, you buy a painting at the secondhand store that accidentally turns out to be worth something. You have to pay taxes on that. Mm-hmm. It was like, it's insane. So she calls Donald Trump an unserious man. But the consequences of putting him back in the White House are extremely serious. And all these things that they kept saying he was going to do, he didn't. He's going to do this time. For reals.
Because
for
of
realsies.
Project 2025.
For realsies.
Which he himself wrote and signed big like Thomas Jefferson and John Hancock did.
Yeah. Well, she does mention that. Okay.
So
when he failed, so she's talking about he personally, Trump, sent an armed mob Nobody was armed January 6th. They found no weapons. Zero.
Only bathroom gun boy.
Yeah, only
the
bathroom
cop.
gun boy who murdered in cold blood Ashley. But no, I guess one guy had bear mace or something, but I wouldn't call that an being armed. So Trump sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol where they assaulted law enforcement officers. The assaulting did not take place until the crowd was fired upon by said officers. They had not breached the fence. They had not entered the Capitol. Folks on the other side had, but the doors were open for them and they stayed between the velvet ropes and were invited in and actually showed around. And there's lots of video of that.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as when you see they start all the videos where they're already engaged and already fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what happened is, and there's video of it. You can go, it's really easy to find. They started firing into the crowd. And I think it was like rubber bullets and flash bombs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what is going to be your reaction when you're behind a gate protesting and all of a sudden you're getting pelted with flash bombs and rubber bullets and they knocked this old lady, she was on the stairs, they knocked her back, she almost died. And they're starting to they didn't assault the enforcement officers, they were fighting in self-defense.
Right.
And then it got out of control. And yeah, there were a couple of jerks that went too far. And I'm not going to back those. But if you go back and look at the video, it was not the protesters that start that. And I also want to iterate, nothing was set on fire. No businesses were looted.
It's true. There was no property damage. A
Very,
podium
very
got
little.
moved.
Yeah. A lectern got moved. It wasn't a podium. And he didn't steal it. Everybody keeps saying he stole it. No, he moved it a couple of feet.
I meant lectern. The moment
There's an entire
the moment the
Twitter
word
account.
podium.
There's an entire Twitter account over the lectern.
The moment the word podium exited, I knew I was in for it. So yeah, lectern.
Yeah. And the whole thing about smearing feces and whatnot is a bunch of crap. They walked across a muddy yard. It was mud. Get over yourselves. You sick, twisted, grotesque, just degenerate, crazy people. Then she goes on. When politicians in his own party begged him to call off the mob and send help, he did the opposite. He fanned the flames. A, he asked for beefed up security. It was denied by Nancy Pelosi. B, he did remember, this all started while he was still speaking several miles away. So he wasn't even aware of this going on because he was still on stage speaking when this started. So he gets told about this. He immediately goes on Twitter and says, go home peacefully. I said peacefully, go home. But no, he was taken down. He was canceled off of all social media simultaneously. That video is still out there. He did not fan the flames. He did not send the mob. And he did get up and say, go home, be peaceful, be kind to the police officers. Don't do this. So did Alex Jones, and he's getting in trouble for it too. And what's his name that was with Alex Jones? He actually had to serve prison time.
It was Owen Schroyer.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Literally out there, never entered the Capitol, and literally out there with bullhorn saying, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, be peaceful, don't do this. And yet they still get thrown in. Anyway, so lie, and lie. 3 in a row. Boom, boom, boom. Entirely set of crimes found guilty of fraud? No. Separately found liable for committing sexual abuse. Notice how carefully we word this. The jury voted that there was not enough evidence to convict him of that. He did
Right.
not rape that absolutely wild-eyed, crazy person. She's insane.
That's the kind of woman you'd run away from, not try to rape.
Well, right. Plus, I mean, not even, she didn't have a time, not even a year.
Oh, it's the Blasey Ford defense.
Yeah.
It works
She
every
couldn't even
time.
say when it happened. How are you supposed to defend yourself against that?
Yeah.
And the jury actually did not convict him. The judge, a Soros judge with political leanings, decided to charge him a ton of money for defamation.
Right.
So he was not found liable for committing sexual abuse. He had to pay a bunch of money because of a corrupt judge who wanted to hand over this crazy person, also funded by Soros. Her lawyer. Who gets a free, high-powered lawyer for a case like this? I don't know when, where, or how it happened. I can't even tell you that. I can tell you the place. I can't even prove he was there. Bergdorf's has security cameras.
They'd have to.
And he didn't even, he said he only met the broad once or twice at, he goes to big parties. You're going to meet a lot of people. This didn't happen. And he was not found guilty of committing sexual abuse by anyone at all, ever. Even Horny Daniels, lost her case and had to pay court costs.
Right.
So they had to go after him for defamation for saying she was a liar because she was, or else she would have won her court case. Okay, so here's what she says he intends to do if he wins again. Consider his explicit intent to set free the violent extremists who assaulted those law enforcement officers at the Capitol.
Which ones? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still pissed at him, and I love it when people call you a cultist, but you can still say you're pissed at him. You can't say you're pissed at your leader if you're a cultist. And, oh, by the way, the very first thing a cultist leader does is separate you from society. Who's the side that says you're not supposed to give anybody a platform? I won't even speak to you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to listen to what you have to say. They separate themselves from society.
Yep.
We're out there trying to have conversations, but we're not allowed to. We're the ones being taken down, censored, told that we're crazy, conspiracy, tinfoil hat wearing crazy people. And we're just trying to live our lives and, make friends. And they're the ones freaking out and barricading themselves. And I don't know. Okay. Anyways. So I'm still mad as hell that he did not pardon every J6er before he left office. Why did he not do that? I wanted Assange pardoned. I wanted all the J6ers pardoned. Why didn't he do that?
I wish he had, especially Assange, but I guess it's not an issue anymore.
Well, I'm not okay with the plea deal that the poor guy had to do, but his explicit intent to jail journalists. Has he mentioned that once ever?
No.
Has that even come out of his face? Even something that you could even twist and interpret? No. Nothing like that and the great thing about it is, Mad Cow and the harpies on The View will talk about it, but they never quote him. They never play the clip of him saying it. They never have, a tweet or a truth or anything that says anything even remotely in the neighborhood of that. And yet they keep repeating it. Where did they get that?
No idea.
And it's a little bit of gaslighting for her to say that he's going to jail political opponents and anyone he sees as an enemy after we've spent 4 years watching them lawfare everybody they don't like.
They've bankrupted Alex Jones. Trump now has, technically speaking, a criminal record now. It's ridiculous.
Well, we literally, right now, have political prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
That did nothing more than say, no, I'm not going to come to your bogus one-party Senate hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, I'm not going to turn state's evidence on a crime that never actually happened.
Right.
There is a guy in jail right now for a meme. in the United States of America, there is a man serving jail time because he posted a meme. And it's the same meme that the Democrats post every election year. He just turned it around on them. And now he is in jail.
No, he should not have done that. Anyway.
It's like the UK. I mean, they're trying to extradite people and jail them for posting memes in other countries. His explicit intent to deploy our active duty military against our own citizens.
You mean like Tim Walz did in Minnesota?
Well, Tim, yeah, but when has Trump said that?
Oh, he doesn't have to have said it. You know he's going to do it.
So this is gaslighting.
Yeah.
They've done it. They're doing it. And now they're trying to say, oh, Trump wants to do it. Honey, you jumped the shark, okay? You jumped the shark. You've gone too far. You've made an idiot out of yourself. You look stupid because you're basically, remember, when you're pointing your finger at someone and accusing them of something, you have 3 fingers pointing back at you. You're doing these things. And I'm so sick of hearing on day one. Honey, you're in office right now. We don't have to wait for day one, sweetie. We know Biden isn't running the country. So just do it now. In good faith. Show us. Just give us one of those things that you've promised. One of those things. You can do it. You have the power. But you're not gonna. Because you're not gonna do it after these joyful idiots vote you in. Consider the power he will have, especially after the United States Supreme Court just ruled he would be immune from criminal prosecution.
He's not immune from criminal. Do we really
that
have
didn't
to?
even happen. First of all, that immunity clause has been in the Constitution since day one. All the Supreme Court did is say, yeah, that's real, that's a thing. And if you make it so that every president who serves can be prosecuted for things they did as president in their line of duty, we will never have a president again. Nobody will want the office.
Exactly.
Only extremely corrupt people who know that they will not be prosecuted for the crimes that they are about to commit.
And they will commit them.
And they will commit them. But this isn't... The Supreme Court does not make law. They don't make law.
They interpret
Can I
the
say
law.
this again? The Supreme Court does not make law. That's why Roe got revoked, because that was a Supreme Court making a law. That never existed. That wasn't a thing. And that's why they said no. Oh, well, actually, she does talk about that too.
How about that?
Yeah, of course we do. Of course, she has to bring in Project 2025, written by his closest advisors, and its sum total is to pull our country back to the past. Whoever wrote this doesn't know how to use punctuation. It's really, really badly punctuated. And I like the memes that are going on around Project 2025. It's like everybody will be entitled to a Corvette. We're going to return the pet rock. I mean, just the ridiculous things that they're saying.
Everyone will be required to own a spirograph.
Yeah. Oh, I love spirographs.
I do too.
I'm
So
okay
that's
with
why I
that
want
one.
Project 2025 to happen.
Yeah.
Because I want my spirograph.
Well, and the things that they're talking that are in it aren't.
I know, not
so
at all.
So the biggest, scariest things. So A, it has positively nothing to do with Trump. Trump didn't even know what it was. Hasn't read it. Had no part in it. And B, ain't that scary? I've read it.
I haven't.
It's a monster. You
It's
start reading it in
thou-
good faith and then you end up skimming it. But everything that they say, and you can even talk to the authors of it, everything that they say is, oh my God, we're going to do this and back to Handmaid's Tale and we're not going to have birth control and no school and blah, 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 blah. Nope. Not in it. Not even in it. It's like the don't say gay bill. Nobody ever said don't say gay. Never happened. Never happened. And yet they just ran with it like it's real. We are not going back to when Donald Trump tried to cut Social Security and Medicare.
When did he do that?
He did?
He has explicitly stated that he has no intention of messing with Social Security
Over
or Medicare.
and over and
Those
over.
are, I mean, no politician who wants to have the job realistically, is going to say that they're going to take a knife to the entitlements. And when I say entitlements, it's not an insult. You're entitled to them because you put money into them for decades, in most cases. So those programs, they're virtually sacrosanct. Nobody wants to keep their job in the government is going to mess with that.
Well, plus the president doesn't have that kind of power.
No, that's a congressional thing.
That would be something that she would be voting on.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in her current, back when she was okay. We're not going back to when he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. I would love for him to get rid of the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah.
That if he were to say that, which he hasn't, but if he were to say that, that'd get my vote right there. It's like,
I know he was
bang as many hookers as you want, man.
I know he wanted to bring forth an alternative to it, but
well, at least he made
the
it
Republican Party, the members kept saying they were going to come up with an alternative, and they
never did because the Republicans
because
don't do anything.
Republicans, that's one of the reasons
They don't.
I'm not
They
a
whine and they
Republican.
complain, but they never do a darn thing.
Yeah.
When insurances could deny people with pre-existing conditions. That is the single thing that is sort of good, except that it jacked up the cost of insurance so high that I still don't have insurance. The so-called Affordable Care Act did the exact well, just about everything that the Democrats do, whatever they name it, it does exactly the opposite.
Right.
We're not going to let him eliminate the Department of Education that funds our public schools. Why not? They suck. We have the dumbest kids on the planet. I say we go back to having it be local. We're not going to let him end programs like Head Start that provide preschool and childcare.
He never said anything about that. To the best of my knowledge,
No.
he has. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't remember him saying.
Actually, he beefed up some of those programs.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, never
It doesn't
mentioned
affect me directly, so I mean, I don't want to live among idiots.
And then she starts talking about the middle class, which they've completely decimated. He will give them another round of tax breaks that will add $5 trillion to the national debt.
Them being his rich billionaire friends, of which he has none.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
He's not the most beloved man among billionaires, by the way.
No. It was hilarious that at the DNC, you get Boyney up there talking about, he no longer talks about the millionaires and billionaires now that he is one.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going on and on about how they're evil and wrong and nasty and this and that and the other thing, and then introduces the next guy who's the first thing out of his mouth is that he is a billionaire and you should listen to him.
Yeah.
But okay. Anyways, there's a few funny videos about that. All while he intends to enact what in effect is a national sales tax, call it a Trump tax, that would raise prices on middle-class families by almost $4,000 a year.
How would you know? You're the one who did it yourself.
You've done, I think, what was it that they calculated? $12,500 a year more that we have to put up just to have the same
quality of life
that we did before the Harris-Biden cabal. And he never said nothing about a tax hike. So what they're doing is they're taking...
Most politicians say they're going to lower your taxes and then turn around and raise them.
Well, he actually did lower our taxes. And I remember the Trump years. It's like how quickly they forget.
Yeah.
We were doing fine.
We actually were.
We were doing fine. And now, we're having I'm having to bake bread and pick fruit to trade for eggs because we can't afford to buy them at the dang store. It's
Not
ridiculous.
that we like to open up our lives that much.
Yeah. No, I think it's wonderful because now we get real fresh, straight from the chicken's butt.
It's established a good relationship with our neighbors.
Yeah, that is nice too.
Really cool.
We're just looking for a dairy farmer. That's all we have left.
A dairy farmer.
Yeah.
We should probably ask Ed and well, I'm not going to say their names. ask our neighbors if they know any dairy people.
Yeah. Dairy. We need
milk,
cheese and cream. Yeah. Well, not even milk.
Butter.
Just cheese, cream, and butter. Yeah.
Cheese, cream, and butter.
Okay. She doesn't think we can be prosperous. Honey, you're in office right now, and what you've done so far sucks. Donald Trump handpicked members of the United States Supreme Court to take away reproductive freedom.
No, you still got your precious right to abort. It's not.
Boo.
It's just.
He put it back to the states where it belongs. And let's think about this logically. You want to make it a federal thing. So what you're saying is you want whatever president who is in power to have control over your body. It's literally the opposite of what he did. It's like you don't even understand what you're saying. You don't even understand what's coming out of your stupid face. It is not a federal choice. It should be turned over to the states. And then if you want to go rip your child limb from limb and suck it out of your body, you can go to another state that allows that. It's not that hard to get in the car and drive. It's just not that hard.
There are resources. There are lefties who will be more than happy to fund your trip over
I
there,
do
okay?
not want my tax dollars paying for you to murder your child, you whore. Close your legs and stop treating abortion like birth control. Okay? Now there's the 3 exceptions?
Yeah.
Rape, incest, and when the mother is in,
if it's
going to kill the mom.
Yeah. Those gonna kill the mom situations, they are microscopically rare thanks to advances in modern science.
Less than a 0.1%
yeah.
that this happens.
Right.
Okay. And I've gone on record saying you get raped, you go to the cops, you get the rape kit, the plan B should be just given to you.
Mm-hmm.
The morning after pill or whatever you want to call it. That should just be part of every rape kit for free because it prevents a pregnancy. It doesn't end it. It's not an abortion pill. That should just be part of every rape kit always. And, if you find yourself pregnant after a rape, first of all, that means you didn't report it and you're every bit as guilty as the rapist when he does it to the next person. And I will die on that hill. I don't care what your reasons are. If I'm the next victim because you didn't do the right thing, and yeah, it's a little hard, and yeah, it might make you cry, and yeah, it might hurt your fifis. I don't care. If somebody assaults you like that, you turn them in. You get that taken care of because the next person they do it to, and they will, because they know now they can get away with it because of you, the next person they assault, who might even be a child, you are every bit as guilty as that rapist. So if anything, having that be available might incentivize them to actually go get that done. So at least then we can have this all on record so we can get the jerk. I'm really trying not to swear. I'm very, 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 I'm skating along the edge. I'm trying because, oh boy, are there words that want to come out of my mouth. Oh boy.
She wants some fighting words spitting out of her mouth.
Okay, so anyway, she lied about that. And
the other thing.
And she says that he's going to enact a nationwide abortion ban. He has actually said exactly the opposite on multiple times on video. I don't know where she's getting that other than just lying. She said he plans to create a national anti-abortion coordinator. That is completely made up.
That's not even...
She invented that.
That's not even something that the government would do.
No.
If that were to happen, the office would be in when they were conservative, out when they were liberal, just in and out, in and out.
That's not a thing. Nobody has said that except her. She just made that up. And people are cheering when she does this out period, of period, their period, mine's period nonsense. I'm so sick of this. Just.
Now that the politicians are
doing it.
And
she does it, well, period, we, period, trust, period, women, period.
No.
Give me a break. We don't trust women when they tell just absolute whoppers like this. I mean, that is just over the top. That's up there with the fine people. For some reason, she brings in the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride. Sweetie, he was the first and only candidate ever who
was in favor of,
was already in favor of that
gay
before
he was in favor of gay.
Yeah, and I probably can even, I mean, you can find Nancy Pelosi saying man and a woman. You can find Troutmouth, man and a woman. You can find Biden saying man and a woman. You can find Obama saying man and a woman. You can find Clinton saying man and... They just changed. They just changed their minds. Trump is the only one who didn't. And I still disagree with it. But he is the only guy who came in already believing that. And he also is the one who made it a crime to persecute them in other countries. Nobody else has done anything like that.
And then there was the border.
Last year, Joe and I brought together Democrats and conservative Republicans to build the strongest border bill in decades, and she actually, out of her stupid face, said the Border Patrol endorsed it. They are on record saying the exact opposite. She is a liar. This is a lie. And the whole reason why Trump mentioned that it should be voted down is for the reasons that the Border Patrol themselves gave. Right now, they just have us making sandwiches.
They're babysitting.
This bill would just have us have more people to help make more sandwiches. Because the border's wide open and all we're doing is feeding them and housing them when we can't even do that for our own people. She is a liar. They did not endorse it. And you know what? I would love to see, if they have a union, I would love to see that union sue her.
The union does exist. And
sue her for both libel and the spoken one.
slander.
Slander. Thank you. Why could I not think of the word?
Anyway,
they need to sue her. That is a lie. That's an absolute
Until she's
lie.
lying, her lips are moving. Yeah,
I mean, it was epic when during the debate that the border in real time tweeted out the opposite of, when Biden
so
said,
we don't endorse Biden.
Yeah, never did. Never happened.
Never will.
Never happened. Mm-hmm. And they did not endorse this bill at all. And the reason it got voted out is because there was billions of dollars for Ukraine and Israel and, peanuts for the border. And that was only to beef up their staff to help them process the incoming hordes. Not to build a wall, not to deport anybody, not to do anything to stop the bleeding, but simply to help them process them. That's all that bill was, and that's why it got voted down. Not because Donald Trump said, I want you to help me get elected. Because you know what? Even if it passed, and it did absolutely nothing, that still would have helped Donald Trump get elected. Only Ukraine would have billions more than, they ended up doing that anyway, but. And of course, we got Russia, blah, blah, blah. With respect to the war in Gaza, President Biden and I are working around the clock because now is the time to get a hostage. And now is the time?
It's been the time.
Didn't it happen way back in October?
Yeah, last October.
So were we just looking at our watches, like Biden with the...
And we'll do it. Wait for it. Now.
Yeah, what? Okay.
Well, I don't know what that was about.
Here's the thing. Both Ukraine and Gaza would not have happened under Trump's watch.
No.
Neither one of those things would have happened.
And the spigot will be turned off to Ukraine the moment Trump
He would have nipped this in the bud so fast this never would have happened. Never would have happened. This was because of the weakness. They saw what happened in Afghanistan and they're like, we can just walk all over this guy. Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination by moving to another Muslim country where they belong, because they are the settlers who decided to take over the one and only Jewish nation. It is theirs by right. It is theirs. It was theirs hundreds of years before the dog-hating pedophile invented his little cult.
Don't shoot us.
Don't care. People who say that the Israeli, what do we call them now? Israelites?
Israelis.
Can we call them that?
Just Israel.
I just don't even know. To say that they're the settlers, that they're the ones that are taking over, it was their land. Biblically. You can go back hundreds of years.
Yeah, but not Quranically.
Well, who gives a flying?
No.
These are the same people that started off their convention with some feather dot Indian broad pretending, I don't know, she looked about as Indian as our good governor who won 124th.
Oh, are you talking about, what's her name?
Yeah, see, God, she hasn't been in the...
Pocahontas?
Yeah, she hasn't been in the spotlight for a while.
Elizabeth Warren.
I forgot her name. It's been so long.
Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, so this white broad gets up there and does this whole land dedication thing, and it just cracks me up when they do these. We recognize this is the land of the such and so. Okay, fine, give it back. Stop
Yeah,
Stop
shut up and just give
pretending.
it back and call
Just
it good.
give it back.
I know.
Who cares if you're recognizing it? If that's the way you feel, less yap, more, but anyway. Turn Gaza to glass. Oh, that'll get us kicked off of YouTube.
Yeah,
Okay, and know this, I will never hesitate to take whatever action is necessary to defend our forces and our interest against Iran.
Sure, babe.
Iran-backed terrorists.
Sure, like send
And
them
I will not cozy up to tyrants and dictators like Kim Jong-un who are rooting for Trump. Because they know he is easy to manipulate with flattery and favors. No, honey, sweetheart, darling, Pookie, Bubba,
Bubba.
and Miss Kamala, heels up, darling. The reason that we did not have nuclear war, that Putin did not invade Ukraine, that little rocket man actually stopped his rocket testing, which he's back to doing, that China didn't completely overtake us, is because Trump understands that dictators are easy to manipulate with flattery and favors. So that is what he did.
And that's what he'll do again.
He also told them that he would nuke them off the planet if they tried any crap. And because he's crazy, good crazy, not cackling crazy like you, but good crazy, he's unpredictable enough that they weren't so sure he wouldn't. And that is why, for a brief, shiny moment in time, we basically had world peace. And then you ruined it.
And that was one of 500 lies she told during this speech.
I think, yeah, paid for by Harris for president. Yeah, so that was fun. Anyways, I do think that this leads us to called it.
Yeah.
We did. We did.
We called this one. We were prophetic.
And now, Counterculture-wise is proud to present. Put your headphones on.
Called it!
Okay, Mr. Vice President, this should only take a few minutes. Denise has already loaded you up in Skype. Johnny has checked the sound quality. It's great on both sides. We've already got the video rolling, and we're going to be switching between cameras seamlessly. We've been rehearsing this all day, and we're ready to go. Miss Harris is ready to take the call. Now, sir, you have the script in front of you. All you need to do is push the little green button whenever you're ready to get this rolling, all right? What does this button do? No, not that button! Crap. Denise?
I'm on it, Chief.
A few minutes later.
All right. We've removed all the buttons but the green one on your screen. All you have to do is push that button when you're ready. When Senator Harris answers, all you need to do is stick to the script. Miss Harris has been briefed and will respond accordingly. We need this to look good for the news outlets and get it out to them as soon as possible, all right? We've already got the video rolling, and like I said, we're going to be switching between cameras. Now push the button whenever you're ready. Good.
Hello, Joe.
Hello! Is this thing on?
Ow! Jesus, what are you yelling for?
Oh, good God. Johnny!
I'm on it, Chief. I'm sorry, Miss Harris. We'll need to do another sound check.
What did you say?
10 minutes later.
All right. Miss Harris's hearing has returned to normal. Johnny has checked the sound quality again, and Denise has started the Skype over again for you. We're rolling or ready to go. Just push the button. Excellent. Cross our fingers.
Hello, Joe.
Hiya, Tulsi.
Really, Joe?
All right, face it. We're just going to have to keep rolling and edit later. Take two.
Hello, Joe.
Hi, Kamala. Will you be my chief running bear? Keep rolling. Take three.
Hello, Joe.
Hi, Kamala. Will you be my vice senator?
10 takes later.
Hello, Joe.
Hi, Kamala. Will you marry me?
Maybe this isn't such a good idea.
27 takes later.
Hello again, Joe.
Hi, Kamala. Cash or credit?
Look, guys, I've changed my mind. I think I'd rather just run myself again in 2024.
Please don't give up, ma'am. I've got this. Mr. Biden, repeat after me. Will. Will! You! Get off of my cloud!
Really?
It's all right, ma'am. We're almost there. Joe, keep repeating after me, sir. B. My.
Running.
Mate.
Yes, Joe, I will.
Yes, Joe, I will. That's good.
You can stop now.
For crying out loud.
Cut the video.
Counterculture Wise is proud to present News of the Weird and Wonderful. Here are your hosts, Melanie Hope and Jim Monis.
I'd forgotten that we made that video, but we totally called it.
They called it.
And we knew he was not
We knew
with
he
us
was
way
all-
back in
all
20.
not all there back
Everybody
then.
knew it. I can't believe that they gaslighted the Democrats for so long.
Well, there's so many people who like needed to believe that he was sharp as a tack.
Well,
so,
including Kamala,
yeah.
who, why would you vote for somebody who spent 4 years lying to you in such a way that it literally harmed the country?
I don't know.
Why would you vote for that?
I have no idea.
I really don't get it.
I don't either. Moving on to happier things.
Let's move on to happier things.
This was sent to us by Fritzy,
By the foot.
and she will be returning soon in a sketch or two.
It is all about the cheese.
All about the cheese. All right. The latest discovery from a team of archaeologists in Egypt has taken aged cheese to a whole new level. To summarize, a team of archaeologists revealed they discovered the oldest specimen of cheese ever found.
The oldest specimen of... Now, do you think it was cheese on purpose? Because it seems to me if it was that old, it probably would have...
I don't know, because 3,200 years old, they found it while the team was excavating the tomb of Thomas, mayor of Memphis. Thank you very much. The ancient capital of Egypt, according to Smithsonian, sometime between 2013 and 2014.
Thomas, the mayor of Memphis in Egypt. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't get any better than that.
They found a few broken jars, one of which had a mysterious solid white mass inside. So yeah, it looks like it was found with a canvas fabric, thought to have covered the jar. This caused the archaeologists to suspect that the mass was food. And yeah, it was a dairy product obtained by mixing sheep, goat, and cow milk. So it was deliberate. It wasn't like
feta.
Yum. Yeah. That's some old cheese. And now I want cheese.
Wow, it's a
and
big
bagel.
vat of it too.
Yeah, it's huge.
Wow.
The cheese they feasted on was probably similar to modern day chèvre, but more acidic. I don't know if
I'm not familiar with chèvre.
Chevre.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that cheese.
But high
I
in
shall
moisture,
investigate the cheese while you continue to read the...
It would be high in moisture. It would be spreadable. Paul Kinstead, a professor at the University of Vermont, who studies the chemistry and history of cheese.
You know those little tubes of goat cheese that we get? That's basically what it is.
Oh, okay. So it's
Yum,
kinda
yum.
like
So kind of a semi-soft, spreadable cheese.
So, yeah.
And those
That
Egyptians
is
knew how to
something.
eat.
Now, see, I probably would have gone to college and stayed there if I knew there was such a thing as somebody who studies the chemistry and history of cheese.
I did not know that was a thing.
It's a thing.
I'm surprised Fritzy hasn't gone to that school yet.
Researchers
Let's
have
not.
been studying.
Don't tell her.
Yeah, I won't.
College
She's
is
not.
expensive.
Researchers have been studying samples of possible dairy substances in ancient Egypt for decades and have extracted lipid and fat residues from pots and jars dating back as far as 7000 BC. However, the piece of cheese that the team of researchers found most recently is the biggest chunk of the dairy product to have ever been discovered.
Wow, from the
That's-
biggest cheese. So yeah, I think Fritzy would sincerely enjoy that giant
Yeah.
cheese.
So, big cheese to big diamond.
Big cheese to big diamond. Yes.
This is amazingly huge.
It's huge. It's huge. It's huge. All right. So we're in Botswana. The largest diamond found in more than a century has been unearthed at a mine in Botswana. And the country's president showed off the fist-sized stone to the world in a viewing ceremony on Thursday. I think we have a picture of this guy up here. Oh, he's covered. Sorry. Wait, did they show him again? Okay, I guess I'm going to have to uncover him because even though there's a bunch of ads and crazy stuff, you gotta see the dude with the diamond. So that is a big old honkin' diamond. He even looks surprised. He's like, what? What?
He looks like that guy what's saying "Kiss from
Yeah.
a Rose." What do you?
Oh, yeah, he does kind of look like
He does
Seal.
kind of look like Seal.
Okay, the Botswana government says the huge 2,492 carat diamond is the second biggest ever discovered in a mine. It's the biggest diamond found since 1905. So, of course, that got me curious. What are the biggest diamonds if it's the second? So that's 2,492 carats. So I found this article about the biggest diamonds, and I was just curious.
Mm-hmm.
There's always crazy stuff on the side. I don't know about that. There's crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff?
There's always garbage on the side. Okay. So our biggest diamonds, that's 10. Sierra Leone, 9, 8, 7. Because I thought the Hope Diamond was the biggest diamond. Apparently, it's not even on the list.
It's big, but it's
6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Number 1 is the Cullen Diamond at 3,106 carats.
that
So
is big.
this bad boy is 2,492. That is a honking diamond.
That is a big honking diamond.
Largest gem quality rough diamond ever found.
So,
But if you shape it, you'd have to chunk it on down, so then it wouldn't be as big as it is. But
right.
so I guess they just leave it the way it looks like. They all just get left the way they are.
Yeah, the one that had the hole in it was the most interesting to me.
The one that had the
that
what in
one
it?
there. That one
This
appears to have a hole in it. Am I seeing it?
No, I think
wrong?
that's just the way the light hits it.
Oh, okay.
Rough that will soon be prisoned to Leslie De Rona, which translates to Our Light. Made news. Wow, it was $53 million.
Jar.
$47,770.
Nice thing to find in your backyard, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
You
huh?
don't have to work anymore.
Too bad they don't have one of those. I want a metal detector for Christmas. Too bad they don't have one of those for diamonds. Beep, 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 bing! Yay! All right, so that was the biggest diamond, second biggest diamond ever to be found.
Oh, that's pretty impressive. They haven't named it yet. I say they name it the Melanie Hope Diamond.
Oh, there you go.
But
But
that's
there
just
already
me.
is a Hope Diamond. So.
But it's the Melanie Hope Diamond. It makes it even better. It's pink rather than blue.
It has nothing. Oh, is it pink?
No, I'm kidding. I have no
Because
idea.
I'd be down with that. Yeah, the Hope Diamond is blue. That's why I have blue diamonds in my wedding set. Because
Yeah.
I'm getting a mix of Cuddles and Chomps over here.
Yeah, I took the liberty of taking a photo of you recording with Frankie being
Frankie.
getting in the way.
He crawled up into my lap. And
So speaking of beautiful pets and amazing pets, Nationwide Insurance announced the finalists for this year's Hambone Award, which celebrates the most unusual pet insurance claims of the year.
some of these are hilarious.
And
And some of them are really sad.
yeah. So the year's finalists include Archie, a New Jersey dog who injured his paws who broke through a vintage plate glass door while trying to alert his family of the mail carrier's arrival. Yeah, that sounds like something some
That's
dogs I've
a
known in my
trope
life.
as old as time.
And Bear, a Pennsylvania corgi who bit into a bottle of nail adhesive and effectively glued his mouth
Oh,
shut.
Baby! Oh, no! What did they do? Oh,
A New Jersey parrot named Clover also made the list after a growth spurt caused toenails on her feet to hook together.
I'm not buying that one. That
I'm
sounds
not
like
entirely.
yeah.
All right, and a Florida dog named Irma suffered from gastrointestinal issues. Fine, I'll say it the other way. That turned out to have been the result of eating metal wire pieces believed to be from a barbecue brush. So
Oh no!
don't eat barbecue brushes. A Virginia dog named
That had to
Gordon swallowed 2
hurt.
large rocks from her owner's garden.
Okay, I had a dog that swallowed rocks all the time. So
Yeah. And then there was a dog named Lambo who ate more than 250 jigsaw
Oh,
puzzle
jeez.
pieces. Should have renamed it Whitman.
yeah,
Or Milton
250
Bradley or
jigsaw
something.
puzzle pieces.
Or whoever makes
It's like I want
puzzles
to play
these
too.
days,
I want to play too. I've got the border. And the worst part about that is once you got the puzzle pieces out, you can't put the puzzle back together. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Just
Okay.
wow.
Well, hopefully all those critters are okay. This is a wonderful and fascinating story.
Yeah, this is cool.
And the postcard arrives at Wales' address 121 years late. So this is only part of the story. The Swansea Building Society said on social media that the postcard arrived at its Craddock Street, Swansea address with the rest of the mail on Friday. The postcard was addressed to Lydia Davis, who employees theorize may have lived at the address back when it was a house rather than a bank. The address is correct. We are still 11 and 12 Craddock Street, but it's 121 years later than expected. It's wild, actually. Oh, Swansea.
There we go.
A little bit spooky. The stamp itself is King Edward, so he was king from 1901 till 1910, and you could tell straight away from the handwriting and the way it speaks, "Dearest, I could not." It was very much of the time. Darby said much of the just brush my teeth. I can't do a thing with them. Much of the postcard is unreadable now, but the postmark appears to bear the date August 3rd, 1903.
Wow.
A spokesman for the Royal Mail said the story behind the postcard's late arrival is unclear. It's unlikely that this postcard was put back into our system rather than being lost in the post for over a century. When an item is in our system, we are under obligation to deliver it to the correct address, she said. Okay, so I went to the social media of which they speak, and I'm going to take that off of there so you can see the whole thing. So it says, we just received a postcard at our Swansea HQ at the correct address, but it seems to have been delivered 121 years late. We need your help. Can anyone in the Swansea community or beyond shed light on this mystery? Do you know anything about Miss Lydia Davies, who lived on Craddock Street in 1903, according to the postmark? Share and comment. And what's even amazing is who would follow the Swansea Building Society? You know?
Yeah,
so they put a picture of it, and yeah, you can barely read it. So then people were trying to interpret it. Dear Lydia, I could not. It was impossible to get the pair of these. I'm so sorry, but I hope you are enjoying yourself at home. I've now got about 10 / as pocket money, not counting the train fare, so I'm doing all right. Remember me to Miss Gilbert and John, with love to all from Ewart. I could not. I wonder what he was talking about.
He wrote it sideways and upside down and
Yeah.
all kinds of things. I don't know if that was common back then.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean,
I am
definitely
the
used the
addressee's
space.
great niece. Lydia and her family are in my family tree on Ancestry website. I have sent a message to Swansea Building Society this morning. So how cool.
Absolutely.
I'm a journalist. I contribute research to the Forgotten Message Project. Jim Rayner, the founder and lead, brought this to my attention last night. I had a quick look and thought I'd share my thoughts and observations. So this gets really detailed and so interesting. I agree with others. I think Fishguard and Pem are modern and marked up by a dealer. So they think that this ended up at a dealer of artifacts.
Antiquities, right.
So yeah, so
right.
imagine we're at Pawn Stars and we've got a box of old postcards.
Right.
I think UK has been added at a much later date. Well, yeah, because it didn't exist back then. But I can't think of why. The hand is different, and I don't think it's a term that was used much in the past, the context of the postal address. The subject picture of the card might have been a lot less commercial appeal than a view, so of the stag. Maybe this languished in stock too long, and the dealer arranged for it to be returned to the original address for want of anything else to do with it. I mean, they could have just thrown it away.
Right.
They may have known your local postal delivery workers. Does the building society receive mail by hand or through a letter flap? So they think it might not even gone through the postal service. It might have, somebody might have just stuck it to them. I can't find a companion painting to Landseer's The Challenge, but maybe the publishers of the card had a second card with another Landseer's stag paintings reproduced. Ewart was perhaps on a promise to send both to Lydia while on holiday. It was August, but could only find one of them. Oh, so he was talking about the postcard itself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I found Lydia very easily in the 1901 census, a brief account of her engagement in 1906 and her new life in the 1911 census in South End as mother and wife to a restaurateur. How wonderful a modern-day relative has come forward. This is just amazing.
It is fascinating.
It doesn't seem to come up much in the Swansea or Pembrokeshire area. I think they don't say the Shire, so the Pembroke area. At the time as a first forename, nationwide, there were some instances of William Ewart in the 1880s and 1890s. I mean, this goes on and on and on. So we'll have all these links on our website, but it is really interesting. This person really did their research. I mean, holy smoly. Further comments on the abbreviation from UK, what I can find is it didn't come into common use as an abbreviation until the mid-1960s. Okay, so it was definitely added afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, lots of reactions to, oh my gosh, that is just so amazing. That is so, then we get information on the artist. Yeah, so really good stuff in here. So I highly recommend we'll have the live link up on our website so that you can check that out. Mm-hmm. All right, this next one
is from Pittsburgh. It says estimated that about 100 cars are sitting at the bottom of the rivers around Pittsburgh. In the past couple of days, tons of debris, much of it from cars, has been removed. I understand it. One of them was a Volkswagen Bug, and then just tons and tons of.
How many Kennedys lived in that area?
Mangled monstrosities sink at the bottom of the Monongahela River near the Mon Wharf were removed on Tuesday. It was a fraction of the debris living lands and waters that pulled out of Pittsburgh's three rivers.
But why cars? Were there people in them?
It doesn't mention.
I have so many questions.
It doesn't mention Mary Jo Kopechne at all.
Oh.
Hello. There's still more work to be done, but really it's cool to be partnering with other groups and doing it all together. The Illinois organization is working with Three Rivers Waterkeeper to get the old cars out. Many of the ones crews found in the Allegheny River on Monday dated back 50 to 60 years. On Monday, this was the original article I was going to read from, but it went kind of weird. Crews removed 50,000 pounds of car parts. That is a lot of O'Reilly. That's
no,
O'Reilly.
You went there.
Sonar lets crews know something is in the water. Divers go in and find it. Excavator drags it out. I think it makes difference not only to get the trash out of the river, for people to see that's happening too. Three Rivers Waterkeeper Captain Evan Clark
there's a whole thing of people that have giant high-powered magnets on heavy fishing line.
Right.
And they literally go magnet fishing and pull things out of rivers and lakes and whatnot where you can't see the bottom.
Right.
And there's like a whole community that does that.
Yeah.
And the things they find, sometimes it's really cool. One guy found a strong box that had money in it. Mm-hmm. One guy found a gun that turned out it was part of a criminal investigation.
Huh, wow.
Yeah, really fascinating stuff. But mostly they find car parts.
Right. I think.
And tools.
I don't know how.
Like our yard.
Yeah. Our yard is a tool shed covered with dirt.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And a Christmas tree.
And a Christmas tree.
I don't know who lived here before us.
This article does not say what the source is. Maybe it was an old car dealership or something that sank. I have no idea.
See, I can understand if it was a bunch of boat pieces and,
The vehicles end up in the water from floods, washing them out, or people dumping them after stealing them.
Okay, well, there you go.
Okay,
now
so it does say.
Ding, 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 ding.
Wrong network, but okay.
Oh, okay. The more you know, the star thing.
The article's from CBS. It was a joke, son.
Sorry, I didn't even know where that came from. That was just a thing. So far, the river has been a place where they don't come back from, but that's changing today. Mm-hmm. Captain Clark said. While the crews are in the region, there are plans to go along the rivers and address some abandoned and derelict boats that have become unwelcome neighbors. See, I thought there should be boats in there. It's huge to see some of these boats go away. With these crews searching the water, it begs the question, have they found the legendary B-25 that crashed into the Mon so many decades ago? How do you miss a B-25? How deep is that thing?
Pretty deep.
Well, we'll keep our eyes peeled, they said. And finally...
So I have never seen
sweet
before
baby,
now
sweet baby.
What panda
they ugly.
babies look like.
They ugly.
They look like penises with
legs.
Look, if you think about it, most of us hire
They get
vertebrates. Most of us hire mammals. We are really born ugly.
Yeah. We're born wrinkled and screaming and
and a lot of us die that
care.
way too.
I don't care. Human babies are not pretty.
No, they're not. Mm-mm.
They're
very,
scary.
very rare.
They're scary.
Very rare, but they're pretty.
Hong Kong welcomed the birth of its first locally born giant pandas on Thursday, with their mother becoming the world's oldest first-time mother of its kind at 19 years old.
That's old for a panda?
One day before she turned 19, yeah. Ying Ying is the mother, gave birth to twins, one male and female, at Ocean Park in Hong Kong just a day before she turned 19. She and her partner Lily are the second pair of pandas gifted by China to Hong Kong since the former British colony returned to China's rule in 1997. Pandas are widely considered as the country's unofficial national mascot. That's true. And China does this. It's kind of a diplomacy thing where they'll lend out pandas to other countries.
They took all our pandas because of Biden.
Yeah. Yeah. So, although Ying Ying started showing symptoms including decreased appetite, increased need for rest time, and changes in hormonal levels in late July, her pregnancy was only confirmed on Sunday. On Wednesday, our care team noticed Ying Ying's labor symptoms and her amniotic fluid broke at night, kush blush. After over 5 hours of labor, the babies were safely delivered. Apparently, panda
so the poor thing was pregnant all this time.
Panda pregnancy is not very detectable. Apparently,
well, they look chubby all the time.
So, cubs are fragile, need time to stabilize, especially the female cub who has a lower body temperature, weaker cries, and lower food intake after birth. So it'll be a few months before they make their public debut, and hopefully they're cuter than that. Ugh.
Oh, they'll be cute. They start getting...
Pandas are cute.
Dalmatians start out white, and their spots come in later too. So I'm sure they'll be much. I mean, their eyes aren't even open. Well, we'll keep track of them.
Yeah,
we'll keep track of those wee little pandas because they are so cute.
All right.
Okay, well, you're going to have fun with the next segment. But why don't we check in with Chuck?
Why don't we?
And now CCW News presents Holy Crap! This is actually happening! DNC Wrap-Up Edition, August 25th, 2024. I'm Chuck U. Farley. Democrat lobbyists tore down barricades, vandalized local businesses, and swarmed the stage at the DNC. The Democrats protesting themselves demanded the genocide of Jews. As a public service to the rest of the world, the DNC kindly offered to remove their own by deploying their mobile murder unit to offer free on-site vasectomies and infanticide. Speaking of freedom, Tulsi Gabbard left the Democrat Party and was immediately put on the high-risk list with the TSA. The designation forces Gabbard into extensive searches lasting as long as 45 minutes every time she tries to board a plane. These incursions involve thorough pat-downs, which this reporter feels has less to do with her threat to the nation than it does most anyone's desire to thoroughly grope Tulsi Gabbard. Several world leaders went into conniptions when they learned that Elon Musk and Donald Trump scheduled a conversation on the X platform. The EU's Commissioner for Internal Markets, Thierry Breton, sent Musk a letter warning him that the conversation that hadn't even happened yet violated their Digital Services Act for harmful content. Washington Post White House correspondent Cleve Wootson asked Press Secretary Jean-Luc Diversity Hire if the Harris-Biden cabal would intervene, and she assured him that they were on it. Just before the scheduled talk, a massive DDoS cyber attack took the platform down for 42 minutes. The CIA must have forgotten that they were hacking an engineer. The talk continued, although there were audio issues, as Trump was talking into a phone from several states away. The resulting, and very common, digital slush made Trump sound so much like Nancy Pelosi that it sparked rumors of a newly developed lisp, drunkenness, or even dental issues. Mainstream media and Twitter trolls gleefully took to the airwaves to make fun of the perceived speech impediment, perhaps forgetting that they have spent the last 4 years using a retroactive struggle with a lisp to cover for Biden's dementia. Meanwhile, during a Harris rally in Massachusetts, the Secret Service broke into a local salon, covered the camera with duct tape, used the bathrooms, pillaged things off desks, allowed random rallygoers to do the same, and then left the camera covered and doors unlocked, just like the U.S. border. Since her website still doesn't mention a platform or even list a single policy she's running on, and the only two she's announced publicly she plagiarized from Trump, Kamala Harris's campaign has asked elderly white people to video themselves singing gospel songs about her. And they're doing it. I swear I am not making this up. On the first day of the convention, Ramblin' Joe bumbled his way onto the DNC stage hours past his bedtime while the backstabbers responsible for the bloodless coup held up condescending "We Love Joe" signs. He began to cry, although this reporter isn't sure whether it was because of the magnitude of the situation or that they had run out of Rocky Road backstage. After angrily denouncing Trump for things that Trump never did, angrily bringing up his dead son as he always does, and angrily saying he was the great uniter while denouncing half of the electorate, he then angrily reminded us of his 81 million votes, more than any politician has ever received in their history of time. He proceeded to lie about the economy, taxes, trade, international relations, and the border. Ousting him at the last minute and installing an unelected candidate has, he angrily assured us, saved democracy. Later that week, he skipped Obama's primetime speech, but angrily denied ever being angry. For CCW News, this has been holy crap, this is actually happening. I'm Chuck U. Farley. Good night, and may God help us.
Now, see, that's why we can't have nice things. This next article might need a content warning.
It's pretty gross.
If blood gives you the heebie-jeebies, best to turn away now. If you're just listening, you're probably in better shape.
This guy did not have his head on right.
Mm-mm.
A man bleeding after a hair transplant, was arrested when he refused to leave a plane. Eugenio Ernesto Hernandez Garnier and a female companion were hauled off the aircraft at Miami Airport on Tuesday, according to local media.
These are their mug shots. He looks pissed.
Yeah. I think she might have been more of an instigator than he was. But anyway, staff were concerned about the state of his head in more ways than one, and potential body fluid contamination, but the 27-year-old reportedly said he didn't have any fresh bandages to clean up the wound, so he'd just gross everybody out, I guess.
You.
The pair refused to leave, with an arrest report saying that the woman, whose latest Blanca Loyola, told crew, if they could not fly, no one else can either.
What?
You know, if I can't have you as my wife, nobody can.
So everybody gets off the plane and stays off in her mind?
I don't know.
If I can't have you, I don't want nobody, baby.
Police were called on board and warned the pair they would be arrested. The woman started live streaming the incident on TikTok because that's what idiots do. Mm-hmm. And they were eventually handcuffed and taken off the American Airlines flight to Las Vegas.
Well, you'll be thrilled to know that I actually have the video.
Yay.
I do have the video. Let's see here.
And wrapped in bandages.
I have a lot of pain. Yeah. I have pain here. I'm pain here in the head.
Hideous.
And he still hasn't washed it off or put another Band-Aid on it.
I come this time from Miami for
bandages are not that expensive.
He flew from Las Vegas to Miami.
The other passengers also had to disembark due to the commotion. Naturally, the pair are said to be facing charges of trespass and resisting arrest. A common hair transplant involves taking follicles from the back of the scalp and reinserting them one by one on the hairline after creating tiny holes in the scalpel or needle.
Stating that he was clear
That's
to fly
all it says.
and go back to work.
Well, he's showing the paperwork saying that he was clear to go back to work. But, dude, why not clean up your head?
He says he showed it to the flight attendants and was told
gross.
this.
Wow, he got transplants all over his head, front and back. That's a lot of transplants.
She told me,
That's some vanity
I don't
right
care.
there.
I don't care.
I guess he'd also. I read in another report he'd also got
Well,
some,
it's really funny later on when she's doing the TikTok thing. She keeps yelling, my breasts, I can't lift my arms. It's
weird. But he apparently got some other surgery as well to make him look better. Some other.
He's not a bad looking guy now. I wonder how much of that is surgery.
That's just injustice. I'm paying my fly. I don't have
Who has money for this kind of thing?
Well, not me, but I don't really.
Everything is fine.
I just shaved my head and made it easy.
Loyola, who also got work done, went live on TikTok while thousands watched. Call 911 that we are being discriminated against and abused.
Just insane.
Police officers were called and tried to get the couple to get off the plane. If you don't get off, they're going to hold you and they're going to take you out and hurt me. But things only got worse.
They're going to take you out and hurt me?
Look, he's recently operated on. He's just been operated on, and they're hitting him. Oh, my breasts. I can't raise my arms. His wife then starts screaming. Police say the couple was arrested for refusing to comply after multiple warnings.
This could have all been avoided if they would just would have followed the commands or the request of the officers to vacate the aircraft.
So, you know...
Only in America, I'm telling you. Only in America.
Something like that happened to me, I would just be apologetic and do the thing.
Indeed.
And I would be miffed about it, and then I would come back and yell at him later, but I wouldn't... I think people nowadays escalate these things just so that they can sue. I think that is literally...
Or to get themselves on TikTok and get hits. Or
well, exactly.
YouTube,
I think that is literally... Their aim is to get content and be able to sue. I really do. I just don't understand these people.
Yeah. You don't really need to understand them. This is an odd situation here now.
Okay. Yeah. I had to read this headline like 3 times and I'm still, what? Woman who faced eviction over 3 emotional support parrots actually wins $165,000. Okie dokie. A woman who faced eviction from her Manhattan apartment over her 3 emotional... How do you get 3 emotional support parrots? I understand 1 emotional support parrot.
I can't
but
even
how do you get
3?
Like, does each one support a different emotion? This is my happy parrot, and this is my sad parrot, and this is my...
And this is my just wanting to chill
This
parrot.
is my joyful parrot.
Joyful, all ye parrots rise.
Anyways, she'll be paid $165,000 in damages plus $585,000 for her apartment under a consent decree announced by federal... Wait, so they're buying her apartment? God, I hate New York. The consent decree announced Monday resolves a dispute between Merrill Lesser and the board of the Rutherford, a 175-unit cooperative apartment building where Lesser lived with her parents, Layla, Ginger, and Curtis. Lesser purchased an apartment. How do you purchase an apartment? Isn't that called a condo?
In New York, you purchase apartments.
Really?
Yeah. So
what's the difference between an apartment and a condo? I thought the difference was apartments you rent and condos you buy.
You own apartments in New York.
But that's what a condo is. That's like the definition of condo.
I don't do these things. I don't know. I've never lived in New York. I've barely been in New York.
Yeah, I always thought apartment is a rental and condominium is basically you buy the apartment.
Condominiums are like apartments with HOAs attached.
Well, don't apartments pretty much have that?
I don't know.
Anyway, she bought it clear back in 1999 and moved in with her birds. Way back in 1999. So neighbor Charlotte Coolin started complaining in 2015. Well, Charlotte can go sit on a tack because Layla, Ginger, and Curtis were there first. I hate people that do this. I hate people who do this. They move in knowing blessed well, I went the other direction, that, I mean, this happened when I was a veterinary assistant in Kent. Mm-hmm. That veterinary clinic had been there for decades, and they built an apartment complex next to it. And people from the apartment complex complained about the barking dogs at the vet clinic. Did you not see? You know, and so they had to constantly be worried about barking dogs at the apartment at the veterinary clinic that was there first, like decades. And it's like, do you not? It's like people complaining when they move next to an airport and they complain about the sound of the airplanes, which literally happened in Des Moines.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is where SeaTac Airport is because it's nowhere near Seattle or Tacoma. Okay. Neighborhood Charlotte Coolin started complaining in 2015. Thanks, Karen. Oh, God, I wake up still with nightmares of them screaming in my head. Were they screaming
honey,
in your...
that's not...
They weren't screaming in your head. They were screaming outside of your head in another apartment. The New York... Well, then that means the apartments weren't very well insulated. The New York City Department of Environmental Protection sent inspectors 15 times, but did not find any evidence of excessive noise. If they were, like, full-size parrots, once in a blue moon, they might go, ah!
Yeah.
But not very often.
No, it's not something
And you wouldn't
they do.
hear that through apartment. You just wouldn't. Unless they were outside on the porch or something.
Right.
No birds, no screeching, no noise, an inspector wrote on February 7th, 2016. Lester submitted letters from her psychiatrist explaining that she needed the birds for her mental well-being. But the Rutherford board began eviction proceedings on May 2016. So you can't own the apartment and be evicted from it. That's not how that works. You own it. I don't understand how this works. How can you be evicted from
I don't know.
a place
It's New
that
York
you
City.
own?
It's an odd place.
I hate New York. Lester moved out and sublet her apartment. See, you can't sublet something that you own.
Well,
She
I mean,
filed
maybe
a federal...
they don't own them. I don't know how it works.
I'll have to look this up.
I don't know.
I think they're getting their terms cross-pollinated. She filed a fair housing complaint with the Department of Housing and Urban Development in 2018, and HUD found probable cause to believe that Rutherford had violated Lester's fair housing rights. They did, clearly. Okay, I was on the side of the folks saying the 3 ESA parrots? But now I'm on the side of the parrots. They were there first, you dumb broad. Anyways, rather than... when I get really upset, I sound like, crud, his name was just in my head just 5 seconds ago. Jack and Jill went up the hill. Jack came down with 250.
Yeah. Andrew Dice Clay.
Each with a buck and a quarter. Yeah, I start sounding like Andrew Dice Clay when I get really mad. Jack and Jill went up the hill, each with a buck and a quarter. Jack came down with 250. Yay!
The funny thing
now
is,
I'm on the side of the parrot broad.
You know, the funny thing is, my dad used to recite that poem to me long before there was an Andrew Dice Clay, so it's been around a while.
Oh, I thought Andrew Dice Clay wrote that.
No.
I'm so disillusioned.
But my dad's version was only mildly cleaner. It was Jack and Jill went up the hill. They each had a buck and a quarter. Jill came down with 2.5. Do you think they went up for water?
Jill got the money?
Oh, yeah.
Go, Jill! Oh, yeah, I got it backwards, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. But, whatever. Wow, Jill got the money? Who would have? God, what a saint I live with. I'm telling you.
I just now understand that joke. I thought Jack beat her up and
This
took
is
it.
the end of the innocence.
Jack beat her up and took it. All this time I had it backwards. I'm so embarrassed right now.
I've gotten some real insights into my wife this evening, I'm telling you. Wow. Just, wow. As in, wow. Kind of, wow.
I would say that I think the better of people, but I don't know which is worse. Okay, go Jill. Just like a Biden. Ooh. Okay, rather than settle the case, Rutherford chose to proceed to federal court, triggering the statutory requirement that the Department of Justice file suit. I hate New York. Williams said the consent decree approved by the federal judge on August 16 represents the largest recovery the federal government has ever obtained for a person with disabilities whose housing provider denied them their right to have an assistant animal. But she had 3, and they were parrots. This outcome should prompt all housing providers to consider carefully whether their policies and procedures comply with federal law. Oh, I bet you they are mad.
I'll bet they're a little ticked.
Peter Livingston, an attorney for the Rutherford Co-op Board, said his client was pleased to resolve the issue. In addition to paying Lester $165,000 and purchasing her shares in the co-op. Okay, so it's a co-op. So it's an apartment, and she co-ops into it, okay. For $565,000, the Rutherford must adopt a reasonable accommodation policy for assistance animals and allow the federal government to monitor compliance. Well, how about the barking rat that's upset that she hears birds go squawk? I mean, there are some lesser parrots, smaller parrots that are really noisy and really obnoxious. So I'm picturing like a blue and gold macaw. They make noises now and then, but the little green ones, they do make lots of loud noises. So without seeing the birds,
I don't know.
I'm still on the side of the birds though, because they were there first.
Yeah.
They always say Lester did not respond to a text sent to a phone number listed for her. So what they do is they'll send an email, or they'll send, like with Steven Crowder, they sent an email to, it was an email that was listed on their website for like their merch or something. So they'll say, oh, they refused comment. They didn't reply. But they didn't even try. Anyway, your turn.
The mayor of a small Georgia town called Thompson has been indicted on charges that he illegally left a bottle of gin in a ditch for a state prison work crew. Now, that's a guy who likes his prisoners.
Yeah, he's a hero.
Thompson Mayor Benjamin Benji Kerry Cranford was indicted on Wednesday and arrested by Georgia Bureau of Investigation agents. The GBI, a Quinn Martin production. He faces felony charges of furnishing prohibited items to inmates and attempt to commit a felony.
What's the felony?
They're inmates. They're prison inmates. They're not supposed to be provided alcohol.
But he didn't go to the prison.
Look, I'm just reading it.
Maybe he was trying to feed the drunken deer. How do they know it was for the work crew?
We'll find out.
And how would he know where the work crew is going to be? Do they post that somewhere?
Yeah. I would imagine that he must have knowledge of what they're going to be sending.
I wonder what he was getting in return.
Yeah. Don't know. The indictment issued Wednesday in McDuffie County Superior Court says the 52-year-old Cranford drove to a store on June 3rd, bought a bottle of Seagram's extra dry gin. At least
he
you
went
got
for the good stuff, huh?
The somewhat good stuff. And left it in a ditch along Georgia 150 in Thompson in the path of a work crew of state prisoners from the Jefferson County Correctional Institution. So they were probably already there, it looks like.
Did they catch him gently lay it down in the ditch, or did he toss it out the window because the cop was behind him? Was it open? I have so many questions.
Lots of them. I don't know. I
just feel that reporters aren't doing their job. If I have this many questions after reading the article, they didn't do their job.
We haven't even finished the article.
Okay, all right. There's only 2 paragraphs left. 3.
Thompson police on June 6th asked the GBI to investigate the claim that Cranford gave alcohol to inmates, GBI said. Agents arrested Cranford at Thompson City Hall after a city council meeting and led him away in handcuffs. WRDW TV reported. Cranford didn't answer questions from reporters after he was released from the McDuffie County Jail Wednesday on a $5,000 bail.
See, they didn't tell us doodly. They told us nothing. Okay, keep going.
Court records didn't list a lawyer for Cranford. Who cares? He has other city officials, of course, declined comments. As we understand, the charges in this case are not related to Mr. Cranford's duties as an elected official. We do not have a comment because we don't want to stick our neck out. Cranford could face suspension from office until the charges are resolved if a panel recommends to Governor Kemp, Governor Brian Kemp, that the charges harm Cranford's ability to act as mayor. Some other officials have been suspended when they faced felony charges that were not directly related to their office. Cranford won election last year, being 12 and
we don't care.
Paving county.
So
there's so many questions. Why did he leave it there?
Because
did
they're
they
the AP.
pay him? What happens? There's so many questions I have.
See?
Yeah.
They didn't answer a darn one of them.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yep. Nope.
Don't you be going no Wonderful Life.
Wonderful Life? I was going Sesame Street.
Oh. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. Nope. That's probably where they got that.
Probably.
Lerv it. Okie dokie.
Now, this is a deliberate misrepresentation, and she deserves to be in jail. There, I said it.
There you said it.
I said it.
Yeah. Chicago woman arrested at Indiana Applebee's after argument over all-you-can-eat a deal. And here is our Dindu in all her glory. Actually, she looks rather proud of herself, if you think about it.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we didn't do. A Chicago woman was arrested at an Indiana Applebee's after an argument occurred over an all-you-can-eat deal earlier this month. Of course, her name is Shanisha. Shanisha Cobbs, 28, was charged on October 2nd with disorderly conduct. About 8:38 p.m., Portage police officers responded to the Applebee's Bar and Grill, don't care, for a reported disturbance. When officers arrived, they heard several people yelling and screaming. A woman spoke to police and said that she, along with Cobbs, another man, and several juveniles, were involved in an argument with the Applebee's manager. Another man. Several juveniles. The group was under the impression that if they ordered the $15.99 all-you-can-eat deal for one person, the order was good for the whole table. Because of course,
we all knew that was baloney.
Everybody knows that. That makes complete and total sense. When the group was told that each person would have to pay the $15.99 for the meal special, an argument started. How did she not even understand? Okay, the whole table is
deliberate.
ordering.
It was deliberate.
She knows.
I'm sorry, it was deliberate.
She knows. Everybody knows that. And you know what? It probably says right on the menu per person.
Keep reading.
The group said the manager was unprofessional and that nowhere in the menu did it say that the $15.99 price was per person. Check X for doubt. Cobbs then handed the menu to Portage police, who showed both Cobbs and another woman in the group that it said per person on the menu. And that should have been the end of the story. But the police shouldn't have even been called. The manager should have come out and said, here it is right here per person. Now hand over the dough. At that time, a couple was leaving the restaurant and Cobbs pointed at them, stating that words had been previously exchanged between the couple and the group. Now we're involving some random couple?
Yeah, we're involving some randos who probably said, hey, stupid, it is per person. Any rational human being in 2024 would tell you it's not $15.99 for the little table. The restaurant would go broke in a week.
Well, yeah, in a day.
And I think, they're either dumb or criminal. So good,
I think
whatever.
the answer is yes.
Yeah.
As the couple walked out the door, words were, we'd be this couple. Darn well, I'd be the one saying, it's right here. It says per person. Okay, chill. Everything's good. And then, of course, she'd scream and yell and pull a gun on me. And then the cops would be called. And then we'd be the ones trying to escape out the back door. We're like, no, they said something I don't like. As the couple walked out the door, words were exchanged again. I hate the passive voice. Words were exchanged. Yeah. And Cobbs allegedly became very loud and disorderly. Again. Police warned Cobbs that she was being disorderly, and one of the women in her group tried to calm her down. Oh, please tell me they did not use the words calm or down, because that does not work with the woman who's upset. When that didn't work...
When that obviously didn't work.
The police told Cobbs again that she was being disrupted and that she would be arrested if she didn't stop. She was then put into a squad car and taken to the Porter County Jail. Her group did end up covering the entire bill. So at least there was an amicable outcome in that particular case.
I'm never coming here again. Good, bye. All right.
Hey, what say we pay a bill or two?
Yeah, let's pay a bill or two.
At Goggle, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary. From our humble beginnings as a search engine with a catchy name, we have become more essential to your life than God. From our #1 search page to YouBoob, from our crime books to our Scamdroid phones, we have made your life easier by controlling your thoughts for you and influencing every move you make. And we couldn't have done it without you. Without your constant use of our products, we wouldn't have been able to censor your speech, monitor your web usage, influence your spending, peddle political influence all over the world, and bend your nation to the will of our overlords in the Chinese Communist Party. Best of all, we are even now controlling the political process in the U.S. to ensure the 2024 elections of politicians who will keep this going. Thanks, America. As we look forward to our next 25 years, we look with optimism to the day when we own half the world's economy, 90% of the media, and the distribution of all the essentials of your lives. Until then, remember to just say, hey, Goggle. Goggle, bringing 1984 into eternity since 1998.
Yep.
Do you ever just feel dirty when you take on a sponsor like that?
Yeah, but we needed the dough.
We needed the dough.
Please go to our website, counterculture.com.
Counterculture, yeah. Drop everything.
We don't have to kowtow to these insane companies anymore.
Drop everything. Head on over, do the thing.
Yep, do the stuff.
Okay. And off we go.
This is not Bubba Waters. It is no longer 2020. But this is your new abnormal.
I ran for president in 2020 because of what I saw in Charlottesville. Neo-Nazis, white supremacists, the Ku Klux Klan, so emboldened by a president then in the White House that they saw as an ally. When the president was asked what he thought had happened, Donald Trump said, and I quote, "There are very fine people on both sides. My God." That's what he said. That is what he said and what he meant.
And you had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name. You're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay?
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm going to come.
Oh. And that was just one lie. We flogged that to death. I don't want to go.
Oh, I'm so sick of that hoax. I'm so sick of it. And the thing is even when you show them that video and they realize they're wrong and they've been duped, they'll just loop back. Nuh-uh. Yeah. I saw it with my own eyes.
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, families have broken up over this. People.
Yep.
Seriously.
Now, speaking of liars, we have a potential liar heading to Washington, D.C.
He's not January. A potential liar. He is an absolute liar. The guy is...
Well, I mean, what I meant was there's a liar who's potentially
headed. Okay, I see what you're saying. I got the words
mixed up.
This guy's a piece of work.
So, thank you for your service. You didn't have to lie about it. 50 Republican military veterans, 50, serving in the U.S. Congress.
Isn't that as many as former FBI agents that lied about Hunter's laptop?
Yeah.
Or was it more? I don't know.
Yeah. They sent a letter to Democrat vice presidential candidate Governor Tim Walz, harshly condemning his lies about his military service. They said in the letter, which was released as Walz ready to deliver remarks to the DNC, the office of the vice president is a position that requires the trust of the American people and a solemn commitment to duty on behalf of the United States of America. As veterans who have served our nation, we feel compelled to address your egregious misrepresentations and urge you to come clean to the American people.
And the thing I don't understand.
Yeah.
Number one, why? Why he achieved a high rank.
Yeah.
And he served with honor and dignity and then, chickened out at the last minute when he might have seen some action. But what is the motivation to lie about your rank?
I don't know.
What could possibly be gained from that other than his whole thing about how he was the highest ranked officer to ever serve? in the Congress, which is also a lie.
Yeah.
But why take something that you could have used for good and turn it into just a lie?
He just wants the brownie points so he's more electable. I don't know. The Republican member said Waltz should be proud of his service in the National Guard, but added, there is no honor in lying about the nature of your service. They wrote, repeatedly claiming to be a retired command sergeant major when you did not complete the requirements was not honorable. Nor was it honorable to claim to carry weapons in war when you had not served in war, and abandoning the men and women under your leadership just as they were getting ready to deploy was certainly not honorably.
And he lied about all of that. He never carried a weapon of war.
He falsely claimed he was a retired command sergeant major, the highest enlisted rank in the Army, when he was actually a retired master sergeant.
Which is still badass.
It's still badass. You just let it happen. He also falsely claimed he carried weapons in war when he had never deployed to a combat zone. To be blunt, when you falsely claim military service that did not happen and abandon your post, you diminish the real sacrifices made by veterans who did serve in combat, they wrote, adding, the honor of wearing the uniform is earned through dedication, bravery, and an unwavering sense of duty. You have displayed none of these characteristics as you have lied your way through a political career launched on the foundation of a title you did not earn and combat deployments you did not take part in. As a result, America's veterans and service members are rightfully concerned about what would happen to them should you ascend to the presidency. When America asks you to
Could
lead
you
your
imagine
troops
that effeminate liar as president?
When America asked you to lead your troops into war, you turned your back on your troops. You have violated the trust of our brothers and sisters in arms. Their blood, sweat, and sacrifice are the only reason our nation is able to exist. Until you admit you lied to them, there is no way you can be trusted to serve as vice president. It then lists all 5,000 of them who signed it. So,
they're all U.S. representatives.
Yeah. Yep.
So who is the highest ranking officer in the Senate? Because he wasn't, because he lied. And there was somebody who...
There was a lieutenant general in there, yeah. Brigadier general, that's high up there. So there's some generals, some colonels and generals in
Plus
there.
he's a bacon.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
What a piece of work. And that's the thing is, Biden does the same thing. He just lies about stupid, inconsequential stuff. It's like, why would you lie about that? It doesn't help you. It just makes you look like a jerk. And
no, there's...
And you don't need to... And
there are
again,
millions of people who are about to vote
there is
for
a
that
huge
jerk, so.
difference between telling a big old whopper, like, I served in this part of the military, I got this title.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he never even was a coach, and they're still calling him coach. He wasn't a coach. He was the guy who wasn't good enough to be coach. He was assistant coach. And he wasn't even a coach to the team or the part of the team that went to the, whatever it was, the thing that he takes. Basically, he takes credit for stuff that he wasn't even there for, which is exactly what they're constantly accusing Trump of doing. I mean, if you want to know what the Democrats are up to, just look at what they're accusing their opponents of.
That's all you need to do.
And that's all you need to do.
All you need to do.
This one...
It doesn't surprise me. England has fallen. It's done.
Europe has just become trash. I mean, the EU was a really bad idea. Always was. And then with Brexit and everything, you still have people that are fighting that for some reason. And then what they're doing with immigration, and now they've gone full censorious dictatorship. There's people in jail for speaking.
The church is lessening its influence because of things in the worst possible way.
Is the Church of England Catholic? That's a Catholic church.
Church of England is Anglican.
Oh, okay. So they're doing even worse than the Pope's doing, because the Pope is garbage. I'm so glad I'm not Catholic, because the Pope is just garbage right now.
He's not the best we've had.
No. So apparently, they're increasingly dropping the word church in favor of relevant and modern sounding descriptions such as community. The Anglican, it isn't, okay, appears to be increasingly avoiding the word church when discussing the creation of new worshiping communities and congregations.
By the way, prisoners in your jail cell, that's a community. Who cares?
Why do they always replace nice, easy words like church with, long pain in the butt words like
that are not accurate? I don't know.
Yeah, worshiping communities. Birthing persons. I mean, come on. The Center for Church Planting Theology and Research looked at the language used by 11 dioceses. You're not going to help me, are you?
Dioceses.
Stop looking at me that way. Gotta get a camera just so you can see the smarmy looks he gives me. Dioceses.
I just said it.
Burgle glory.
Dioceses.
Those things. I don't think that sounds dioceses. That sounds
just
like
roll.
Diseases. To describe new churches. The creation of a new church group is traditionally referred to as a church plant, but the report. Why is the period outside the quotation marks? Is that a British thing?
It's a British.
No, that's just wrong and evil. That's bad. No.
I don't really want to go there.
That's like beans on toast. Bad. Boo! Shame on you.
It's all beans on toast.
I don't know. I've never tried it. But the report, now I want to go have beans on toast just to say I've had it.
Well, there you go. We got beans, you got toast, you got life.
But the report found that while 900 new churches had been started by the
dioceses, I'll say it for you.
In the past decade, I'm not saying it, I don't like that word, none had used the phrase church plant as the primary way to describe the project. Well, okay. When I hear church plant, I'm thinking, a ficus.
I was bracing myself for that.
A holy ficus, I'm just saying. The report's author, Reverend, how come he doesn't get periods after Reverend Doctor? We don't get periods now? Reverend Dr. Will Felger, vicar of St. Nicholas in Durham, found that 6 of the 11
dioceses
used the language of worship in their main descriptor of new church projects. 2 used congregation and 7 used community. Community plant sounds like something the CIA would do.
Mm-hmm.
Congregation plant sounds like you're just stealing people from another church. And worship plants we're back to the ficus again. Dr. Giles Fraser, victor of St. Anne's Kew, told the Telegraph that his apparent reluctance to use the word church reflects a, quote, misplaced desire to be relevant and modern sounding.
Yes, sir.
I agree. And, that is a really pretty church, though. Look at that church.
Yep.
In an article in Unheard, Dr. Fraser said that it was as if the church has given up on church. Not since Prince became Squiggle. I see what he did there. Has there been such a daft revision? I like this guy. He warned the embracing of these new forms of worship have been ruinously expensive for the church. I like how they underlined the church. I'm sure that goes to a link, but it just kind of looks like it, should be underlined. Cautioning that the push for modernization should not come at the expense of traditional parish churches. Amen. The report found that 10 of the 11
dioceses
studied, used the language of culture change to describe the place of new things within the
diagrams.
Okay, now you've given up on it. Dioceses. Dr. Fowler suggested that the Church of England might be moving away. Max gets it from me, right?
Yeah.
From using the word church as part of a cultural rejuvenation. He said that the word church was not comprehensive enough to describe what it is. No, honey, church is comprehensive enough because it's a concept and you get a nice, sweet little word with all that stuff behind it and you deal with it. You don't have to describe every bloody thing in detail with a bunch of foo-foo fluffy words when you have a nice, lovely word that has all those connotations behind it. Adding that the phrase new things might be more appropriate. Things.
Yep.
New things could literally apply to any things.
Yes.
A spokesman for the Church of England told the Telegraph that one reason why the word church appears less often in description of new worshiping communities is that these forms of worship can exist outside of traditional bricks and mortar churches. Wherever two or more are gathered in my name, you can still call it a bloody church. Besides, how would they be church plants if they don't have brick and mortar? Nobody uses brick and mortar anyway. Have you seen anybody build a building with brick and mortar? Not even a thing. Sorry. Examples of these new communities have cropped up across the country. At St. Barnabas in Ealing, a free mass is on off. What is a free mass? Is on offer to welcome families with young children.
In other words, you don't get to say shush at these because you brought your children. It's for families with children who don't want to
Nobody does that. That's what cry rooms are for. While the silent disco worship at All Hallows Bow in East London, a new congregation founded within an existing church, attracts young adults. It's
silent
still a
disco.
church. How do you do? Do you just sit there and point up and down throughout the whole service?
You just dance.
And
there's a disco ball spinning, and you just dance.
But it's silent, so there's no music.
Silent. Yeah. I guess I have no idea. Stupid.
I've got to look this up. You read while I look this up.
Okay, the Diocese of Worcester, meanwhile, has
embraced... The only reason I made you read is because you had to say that.
I don't mind saying diocese or dioceses. It was just getting silly.
Well, you also got Worcestershire.
Worcester. Meanwhile, Worcester, I don't know. I don't live there. Has embraced outdoor worshiping with members of the churches in the Team Valley South, replacing church services with countryside walks.
Okay, here we go.
Stopping for Bible reading and prayer along the way.
Silent disco worship is a modern twist on traditional church gatherings where attendees wear wireless headphones to listen to music or sermons in a silent environment.
That sounds
Isn't
creepy.
that just called home?
That's creepy.
That's just called home, where you listen to headphones. The innovative approach allows individuals to fully engage with their faith in a unique and immersive way. Wireless headphones with multiple channels enabling
so you're not
attendees...
interacting with each other? That's so churchy.
Yeah, that's so churchy. Enabling attendees to switch between different music or sermons. Silent environment allowing for a more contemplative and focused experience. It's not silent, though, because you're wearing headphones and listening to noise. Do they not understand what silence means? No external noise or distractions, enabling individuals to fully immerse themselves in the worship experience, which you could do at home. Flexibility to accommodate different age groups, languages, or musical preferences.
Fair enough.
So basically, you're going to make me get dressed and drive to go to a place where I can listen to my headphones that I could have just sat on my couch and listened to at home.
And had all the coffee and food you wanted.
And had all the coffee and food and potty breaks, and because you're not making eye contact, you're not interacting with other human beings.
That sounds perfect for this modern age.
Well, there's literally no reason for it.
I know.
What's the point?
No idea. These,
Okay, so these are like splinter churches that meet in existing churches. So they're still churches.
I don't know anymore. The Diocese of Worcester has embraced outdoor worshiping with members of the churches in the Team Valley South, replacing church services with countryside walks, stopping for Bible reading and prayer along the way. That
sounds
cool.
nice.
That would be all right. These communities often meet in existing church buildings.
Remember when we used to go for hikes in Las Vegas every Sunday and we called it church?
We called it church, even though we were the only believers in the whole bunch.
But we still called it church because...
Yeah, we were out in nature.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was fantastic.
We found God multiple times. It was beautiful.
Yep. You almost teased me into finding God early.
We weren't the only believers. We were the only Christians.
Yeah. It's true. These communities often meet in existing church buildings, attracting additional worshipers alongside traditional congregations, but they are as much church as any form of worship, a Church of England spokesman said defensively.
Right, so why not use the term church?
He added that the church is defined in theological terms as a community of people who together live in relationship with God through Jesus Christ. In his report, Dr. Folger acknowledged that this change in language by the church is forcing us to redefine what we think a church is in the Church of England.
No, it's not, because the definition he gave us is exactly what they were saying it was. So, here is the definition of the word we don't like, but the new thing is going to still mean the exact same thing. They're doing that with DEI, by the way. They're still doing all the DEI crap, but they're just giving it a different name.
They give it a pretty new name every week or so to evade those of us who believe that merit-based promotions and merit-based hiring.
Right. And as long as I live, I'll never understand why colored people is evil, but people of color is okay. What?
I don't want to.
I don't like either one of them.
That was you. That was not me. I ain't saying no.
No, I don't like either one of them. But for some reason, if you say, which I wouldn't, because I don't give a crap what color your skin is. That's just stupid. But if you say colored people,
wasn't that a movie with Whoopi Goldberg, The Colored People?
I think that was The Color Purple.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of entitled, incredibly rich people, did you hear what Oprah said?
Oh, I have no interest in anything Oprah says or does.
I think Chuck reported on it.
I think Chuck talks about it.
He did.
All righty. Well, I'm done.
Are you done?
Obviously they're.
Are we all done?
England has fallen.
England is gone. Oh, criminy.
But we don't end on those kinds of notes.
No, we do not. We like to end on a high note here at Counterculture Wise because we report on news of the weird, wonderful, and wicked, but then we get back to wonderful. And this one is a little different than what we've done before. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to play the video, but we're going to talk over it so we don't get DMCA'd into oblivion. God willing, and the quick don't rise. DMCA. Here on Counterculture Wise, we may rant, we may rave, but most of all, we go against the current culture because we believe, to the core of our beings, that humans are good and the world is an amazing and beautiful place. At the beginning of our show, we give you news of the weird and wonderful, but that is just the tip of the magnificent iceberg that is our world. We now present news of the wonderfuller.
This story really moved me, and just seeing this photograph on this article is just amazing to me. It almost looks staged by the cat. This was a very resourceful and smart kitty.
Really smart
kitty. So there's video we're about to show you. It captures a moment that will melt your heart. A stray mother cat, desperate and in tears, brings her dying kitten to a kind-hearted man, hoping for a miracle. And the man was able to nurse the kitten back to health and ensure the safety of the entire feline family. Now, the original video is something along 13 minutes or something like that.
So I did quite a bit of editing.
Cropped it quite a bit.
And of course, we want to give them full credit. Yeah. So the rescue organization is called Teddy Kitten Rescue, and this is in Punjab, India. And what just sweet, beautiful, kind-hearted men these are. And
they go through the streets feeding stray cats. Under it being India, there's countless,
probably quite a few,
countless animals walking the streets. So,
but just to know that there's people out there taking care of this. So, here we go. Grab the tissue. Today we were busy in a street feeding when a cat came toward us with her kitten in her mouth. And this kitten is from talking to people who just get the audio.
Look at this cat. It looks like its back is broken.
Yeah, her tail really is messed up. Her face
abused.
Is all punched in. And these kittens are tiny, like just born.
Yeah.
Eyes still closed.
Days, maybe.
We gave the cat jelly food, which she ate very eagerly. So these are like tubes of paste. We actually give this to Max now and then. And she was so hungry. You can see her ribs. So she goes running off and brings them another kitten. They're just a few days old, he says. Yeah. And you can hear the little mew mew. We were quite surprised to see the injured condition of the cat. Yeah, her face is messed up. She must have given birth to kittens just a few days ago. So she runs off, and this time they follow her, who has treated her so badly in such a condition. Obviously, this wasn't written by English speakers.
Right.
So she leads them behind a bush where there's a clay pot.
Where there
and
were a few more cats.
There's a few more kittens. After some time, the cat started moving in a direction as if she wanted to take us somewhere. And they find, I think, 2 or 3 more kittens. The cat stopped at a place. It's behind a bush in a broken clay pot. And there we found 2 kittens in a clay pot. And they're little black and white and mottled kitties.
Adorable.
Little spots. We felt so sorry for the cat. So now she goes running off, and we followed her at a place, and another kitten rolled down from above, so he was in a little dirt heap. So now we've got 5 kittens.
Yeah.
And they tried to feed her kibble, but she just wouldn't take it. She's too out of it. But the kittens are nursing, and she feels comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So they said we offered the cat crunchy cat food, but she seemed disinterested. Some man off the street came and told them that the cat has 6 kittens, so we still have 1 missing kitten.
Mm-hmm.
He said they keep moving them. So the story was that after some time, the cat brought another kitten to us, and here it comes. And this is where that picture comes from.
Shape.
This kitten is not doing well. Our team member immediately took the kitten to the vet. So now she's a little more relaxed. She's eating more of that tube food. The kittens are nursing. She's so hungry. The treatment of the unconscious kitten is ongoing. So they actually hook it up to a little oxygen. The vet said that the kitten had this condition due to heat stroke. So now they've got all the kittens are cleaning up their faces. They said if they had delayed any more, the kitten would have died. The vet assured us that the kitten would recover quickly. So now we're getting shots, we're getting cleaned up, we're getting dewormed. Everybody gets a checkup. Mama's face gets cleaned up. Look how good she's taking that.
Yeah.
They're putting stuff in her eyeballs. Poor
I
Max
think
had to go through this when he was a kitten.
She senses that they're trying to help her.
Yeah,
out.
the cat treated her wounds. And now she's in the rescue. This is the scene. She's going here and there and looking around. So there's beds everywhere, and a little bit of AstroTurf and all kinds of toys and everything for the cats. And Mama's still searching all the corners. Looks like her tail got docked. And it says, please relax, your adorable cat. Your kitten will be returned to you soon. So she's looking around. Now she's nursing the 5 kittens. And there's other little kittens that they've rescued floating around. She's finally doing what a mama kitty should do. She's flexing her toes, and the kitties are nursing. She already looks like she's gained a little bit of weight.
There's
and
other
as
cats
soon as she saw the 6th kitten, she started licking it.
Yeah.
Now she's cleaning herself, and that's a good sign because that means she's comfortable. The recovered kitten is looking active like the rest of the kittens. It's eating. It's been fully recovered.
Most of the cats get along with these cats.
Mama's face has been treated. And then they give a little commentary about how the outside life is dangerous for them. But this is such a beautiful rescue with so many toys and little cubby holes they can hide in. And so then they fast forward, the mommy's face is about 90% recovered, and the kittens are 100% recovered. And what a sweet, sweet story.
Yeah.
How kind-hearted. I just love that. And they do this, I mean, there were just hundreds.
Yeah, you go to their
webpage.
Instagram, and there's like dozens of videos like this of cats being rescued and
so we're gonna post that link, and I'm sure they're gonna need donations.
Yeah,
and,
by all
and help
means, please, if you can, send some shekels.
We
their
have a
way
huge heart
because-
for that because our orange boy who's behind us right now he was rescued in a very similar state.
Exactly.
And
he's doing great
he's
now.
given us, gosh, how many? 13, 14 years?
Yeah.
Of real joy, not Kamala joy. Or, sorry.
As we bring it...
Kamala.
As we
common
bring it
law
full circle
joy.
tonight. Common law joy.
As we come full circle. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been divine. Thank you so much for spending time with us. We will be here next week with
and don't
more.
Forget about our interview.
Oh, yeah.
with
Don't forget our
Callie
interview with Callie on Wednesday. You will love it. She is such a precious soul. And we have many more interviews coming up, getting back into the swing of things. And that being said, we will see you next week.
Counterculture-Wise is a Stormcat production.
Thank you for joining our growing family of listeners. All links from the show are available on our website, counterculturewise.com. Find our archives on any of your favorite podcast hosts.
We engage in satire, commentary, and generally laugh at the ridiculousness of our crumbling society. Our only medical or financial advice is to not follow any financial or medical advice given by podcasters.
Our animations, interviews, Holy Crap segment, and other videos are put out on BitChute and Rumble, and only in part on YouTube because they hate free speech.
Our show is entirely funded by listeners like you. Visit our ever-expanding merch store or our Subscribe Star, where you can get outtakes, extra videos, and sneak peeks.
If you would like to be a guest on our program, feel free to contact us via our website. Just click on the link at the top that says, "Be a guest on our show."
For more fun and cat pics, please visit our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. For complaints about our show, please fill out the ID10T form on our website, and we will give it the attention it deserves.
Meanwhile, no matter how cruel the world may be around you, always remember the importance of kindness. Be kind to each other, be kind to animals, and be kind to yourself. See you next week.